Chapter 166. Heaven never bars one's way. I'm the disciple of the Big Dipper star. I'm the young disciple of the Big Dipper star, Su Yin muttered to himself. He did not care about the people chasing after him. When Su Yin flew into the crack, his aura changed. He vaguely emitted a noble aura. His body even rippled with starlight, transmitting waves of the mighty power of the Star River. When Su Yin came out, waves of murderous aura came out. Instantly, people shouted and horses neighed. A group of cultivators with powerful auras came over in just a blink of an eye. They were holding all kinds of killing weapons, aiming at Su Yin. It seemed that they could attack him at any time and cut him into pieces. Su Yin guessed that Go Peng had arranged people outside. Indeed, there was a group of great experts guarding outside. Their auras were intimidating. After all, Yaowang Palace was the overlord of this life-ancient star. They had many subordinates. With Go Peng's position, it wasn't difficult for him to send people to seal this place and interrogate the people who came out. Another unlucky guy came out. This place was surrounded by many onlookers. They were pointing and whispering. Ever since Go Jingming's death, Yaoguang Palace Hall subordinates had detained a few people with questionable backgrounds and locked them all up. How dare you? However, as soon as Su Yin came out, his face turned furious. Starlight shot out from his body. Moreover, his life cauldron soared into the sky, pouring down streams of the Star River, wrapping Su Yin. It made him look intimidating. Su Yin looked down at them from above. His voice and expression were stern as he stared at these people and angrily shouted, "You dare to block my path? How dare you? Where's Go Peng? Tell him to get his ass over here." This group of people was stunned. As for Go Peng's primordial spirit, a part of his body had left his body. His real body had fallen into a deep sleep, and he wouldn't wake up in a short time. "Brother, who are you?" The leader of the group hurried over, not daring to be slow. "Where are your eyes?" Su Yin didn't get angry. His aura was intimidating. Waves of powerful Star River energy were vaguely emitted from his body. He looked like a big bright star that was disintegrating. Big Dipper Fist? The man in the lead was shocked. He quickly shouted to the people around him, "Are you blind? Put away your weapons right now." His forehead was drenched in sweat, and a chill ran down his spine. He guessed that this person was definitely an inheritance disciple of the Big Dipper star, or perhaps a closed-door disciple of some doyen. Although the Alcade Palace Hall and the Big Dipper Palace Hall were at odds with each other, the Big Dipper Palace Hall was still the overlord of the Big Dipper Star region. How could they offend them? "How dare you? What are you doing here? You want to deal with me?" Su Yin was still angry. His heart was anxious. Go Peng was about to come out. He must quickly leave this place. I don't dare. It's because an enemy from the Alcade Hall has barged into it. Go Peng." Before this man could finish his words, Su Yin said with an impatient face, "All right, I still have urgent matters to attend to. Immediately prepare a carriage for me. I have an important matter to discuss with Yaowang Palace Master. It must be quick. Young master, please." This man's face was full of flattery as he enthusiastically greeted Su Yin. Yaowang Palace Hall was a large family with a large business, so naturally, they had first-rate carriages. He pulled out the fastest carriage, and the one pulling the carriage was a mutated beast, the lightning beast. This mutated beast was silver-white in color, and its body was as large as an elephant. Its speed was extremely shocking. Not to mention the Yun clan, it wouldn't even take 3 months to pull Su Yin to Yaowang City. "Very good. I will reward you handsomely." Su Yin heroically threw out a stalk of spirit medicine and sat on the carriage with a swagger. He said, "When Go Peng wakes up, tell him to quickly go to Yaowang Palace Master. Tell him that Yaowang Palace Master is looking for him, and tell him not to delay." This man was wild with joy, as if he had found a treasure. This was a stock of 3,000 years old spirit medicine. Although it was the weakest spirit medicine that Su Yin had obtained, this spirit medicine was still considered a rare spirit medicine. Rumble. At this moment, the lightning beast awakened. Although its body was huge when it ran, it was as fast as a gallop. It was like a thick bolt of silver lightning, pulling the chariot far away in an instant. At this moment, Go Peng's primordial spirit had already rushed out. Men. Go Peng laughed loudly. He should have captured Su Yan. After all, how could a brat that wasn't even at the transcendent realm escape from his trap? My lord, have you captured the thief? This man hurriedly went up to greet him. Seeing Go Peng's happy expression, it seemed like he had succeeded. Let me ask you, where are the people that I asked you to detain? Go Peng's primordial spirit returned to his body. The moment he opened his eyes, the world flickered between light and darkness. A terrifying killing intent emerged from his body, causing the entire forest to tremble. The surrounding people's hands and feet turned cold. It's just ahead. My lord, follow me. This man hurriedly said, That's right, my lord, there was a young genius from the Big Dipper star just now. He said that the palace master is looking for you and wants you to hurry back. The palace master is looking for me? Go Peng was unhappy. His son was already dead, so why was the palace master looking for him at this time? As for the young genius from the Big Dipper star, who was it? The palace master and the Big Dipper star were not close. Could be Han Tong? Go Peng pondered for a while and felt that something was wrong. He immediately rushed forward and his eyes landed on the detained people, searching carefully. The smile on his face slowly disappeared and was replaced by a trace of fury as he stared at the man. This man was so frightened that his hands and feet turned cold. He fell to the ground and said in a trembling voice, My lord, they're all here. Bullsh asterisk T. Where are the people who ran out just now? Go Peng's face was ashen. He had a bad premonition. Recalling Su Yan's words, Go Peng was furious to the extreme and roared at the sky. Boom! Like a sudden clap of thunder, the surrounding people's chi and blood rolled. Some people were sent flying and coughing up blood. Wisps of terrifying aura rose from the ground and pierced through the sky. Go Peng's body emitted a monstrous, murderous aura. So what if they ran away? It was just 20 of his subordinates. How dare they give Su Yan a lightning beast carriage? What's the use of keeping you alive? Go Peng roared, and the man was torn apart on the spot. This made the surrounding people tremble. This was too domineering. He killed a transcendent expert with a roar. Rumble. When Go Peng's aura recovered to its peak, a huge figure appeared behind him. The lawful embodiment of heaven and earth filled the heaven and earth. Its divine aura was vast and mighty, about to suppress the sun, moon, and universe. The mountains and forests were in chaos. The territory within 1,000 miles was about to be overturned. It could not withstand Go Peng's aura. Over here, Go Peng's heavenly eye turned and began to search. However, the lightning beast's speed was too fast. He spent a lot of time before he could lock onto the lightning beast that was 3,000 miles away. Ha ha, let's see where you can run to. Go Peng laughed madly. His speed was too shocking. He began to cross the void. The big shot of Arcade Hall lives up to his name. His speed is too shocking. The surrounding people were discussing. There was no need to say much about Go Peng's strength. Before his real body could cross to the territory where the lightning beast was attacking, the territory had already collapsed. The lightning beast wailed and trembled. It knelt on the ground, not daring to move. Evil creature, get out here. Go Peng's huge hand pressed down. The huge shadow behind him instantly stretched out. A palm as thick as a mountain pressed down horizontally, crushing the carriage into pieces. In the next moment, Go Peng was stunned. He was silent for a moment. His whole body was trembling. Wisps of terrifying anger filled the air. It was as if he wanted to crush the rivers. There was not a single person in the carriage. Damn it! Go Peng's angry roar caused the hibernating beasts to cry out miserably. They were torn apart by the roar. There was not a single living creature within 100 miles. This old thing is too strong. Let's leave quickly. When the lightning beast was moving, Su Yan had already run out. He rushed all the way to the Yin tribe. He wanted to use the ancient array to leave the desolate mountain forest. Even from afar, Su Yan could feel Go Peng's angry aura, causing him to shiver. When he arrived at the Yin tribe, he found that there were quite a lot of people here. They were even discussing about Go Jingming. It seems that the commotion is very big. Go Jingming is not scary. The scary ones are Arcade Hall and Deputy Hall Master Go Peng. Su Yin had killed a legacy disciple in the Alcade Hall's territory. Everyone in the Alcade Hall was furious. They felt that the Alcade Hall's overlord was being challenged. Su Yin hurriedly asked around. He went to the ancient array area and found the manager here. You want to use the void array? The manager of the Yin tribe smiled and said, sure. 3,000 origin essence stones per person. 3,000? Su Yan's face darkened. Wasn't this too expensive? Su Yin quickly paid the money and asked, Senior, I have an urgent matter. Let's go quickly. The manager leisurely drank a mouthful of tea and said with a smile, don't worry. Not everyone is here yet. When there are enough people, the ancient array will be activated. How long will it take? Su Yin frowned. Very soon. Only 1 or 2 days. The manager's words made Su Yin want to stamp a shoe mark on his face. Don't worry. If we activate the void array before everyone is here, we'll lose money. Su Yan's unfriendly gaze made the manager chuckle. Young man, calm down. We'll be able to set off soon. At this moment, Su Yan's aura faintly became terrifying. Starlight swallowed and spat out from his body. His physical body rippled with the power of stars, and the faint image of the Big Dipper appeared. The powerful physical pressure, which could be said to be at the transcendent realm, caused the manager's expression to change. He bitterly smiled and said, this old man's eyesight is really bad. So you're a disciple of the Big Dipper Hall. But I really have no choice. These are the rules set down by the higher-ups. Why don't you ask our clan leader? I'll give you another 10,000 origin essence stones. Immediately activate the ancient array. Let me tell you, if you delay my matters, your Yin tribe will cease to exist. Su Yin threatened. Hearing this, the manager was startled. He stuttered. 10,000 origin essence stones? Okay, let's go. The manager brought Su Yin to the ancient teleportation array. He urged the people waiting here to hurry and gather here. Just as these people were about to enter the teleportation array, Su Yin's expression was ugly. Outside the Yin tribe, a terrifying aura suddenly appeared. A giant Dharma idol appeared, filling the void. It was like a god, exuding a terrifying pressure that was as deep as the sea. Yin tribe, from now on, without my orders, stop using the ancient teleportation array. Gopeng's thunderous voice exploded. He was afraid that Su Yin would leave through the ancient array. Where'd he find him then? He guessed that Su Yin couldn't have gone far. He had to find him even if he had to dig 3 feet into the ground. He was prepared to immediately arrange for people to suppress the surrounding villages and interrogate them. Deputy Hall, Master Gopeng. The manager hurriedly said, there's a disciple of the Big Dipper Hall who wants to use the void array. What do you think? Chapter 167. Su Yan's face darkened. He had done everything he could to buy time to cross the ancient void array and leave for Alcade City. He had done everything he could, but who knew that he would suffer a huge setback here? Big Dipper Hall disciple. Gopeng's face was filled with anger. It was because of this that Su Yin had escaped. When Gopeng saw Su Yin, his expression was particularly interesting. Damn your grandfather. Su Yin was incomparably depressed. This was really bad luck. Ha ha ha. Gopeng let out a loud laugh that shook the sky, causing the entire Yin tribe to faintly undulate. He was an expert of Alcade Hall, a dignified deputy hallmaster. On Alcade Planet, he was an extremely powerful figure. The Yin tribe did not dare to say a word about his orders. There were even some old fellows who welcomed him happily, wanting to invite Gopeng into the Yin tribe. It's Gopeng. Many cultivators gathered in the Yin tribe, including some young Ingjia from Alcade Hall. They all knew about Go Jingming's matter. Who would have thought that Go Jingming, a legacy disciple of Alcade Hall, would die in the Star Tomb? Boom! Suddenly, a huge figure appeared behind Gopeng, filling the heavens and earth with mighty divine aura. The entire Yin tribe was on the verge of exploding. Everyone was alarmed, not understanding what had happened. Could the Yin tribe have offended Gopeng? Ha ha ha! It's really a case of searching high and low only to find it by chance. Gopeng looked up to the sky and laughed, his entire body releasing a cold, killing intent. Although he did not know where Su Yin came from or what relationship he had with Big Dipper, he still had to kill his son. After all, the true dragon blood was too precious, and he had to take it back. This was a huge hand that stretched out, covering the sky and covering the entire Yun tribe. Go Peng, this old thing, I'll take my leave first. Su Yan's entire body released waves of array, Dao, aura, and countless array marks appeared under his feet. Under the dumbfounded gazes of the surrounding people, the silent, ancient void array suddenly awakened. Under the guidance of Su Yan's aura, it was filled with a vast void energy that swept across the land. Not good. The people of the Yun tribe were alarmed. Su Yan could actually operate the ancient matrix of the void. Could it be that he was proficient in the art of matrices? The people of the Yun clan wanted to stop it, but it was too late. The power of the ancient void formation was very shocking. The power of Go Peng's giant palm was blocked. Open! Su Yan roared. As the ancient void array burned to its limit, countless void array marks intertwined together, turning into a void tunnel that pulled Su Yan away without a trace. Bastard, stay here! Go Peng was infuriated. His entire body was covered in murderous aura. When his aura recovered to its peak, his entire palm became a lot more terrifying. It crushed the void, and its might shook the heaven and earth. No, Senior Go Peng. The people of the Yun tribe wanted to cry. Once the ancient void formation was destroyed, the Yun tribe's biggest source of income would be gone. The price to create an ancient void formation was too shocking. It could easily empty the resources of a large family. After all, it required rare void stones and even an array formation grandmaster. The power of the void was being crushed by Go Peng at a speed visible to the naked eye. His palm ruthlessly chopped down on the ancient void formation, causing it to split apart. Then, under his aura, it completely exploded. The void tunnel, which had traversed an unknown distance, also collapsed. Even if you flee to the ends of the earth, there will be no way for you to survive. I will kill you. Go Peng's aura was extremely savage. He constantly crossed the void, following the remnant energy fluctuations of the void tunnel to search for Su Yan's tracks. Pass down my orders. The disciples of Alcade Hall are to hunt down this child. If they can capture him alive, they will be rewarded with 100,000 origin essence stones. The entire Savage Mountain forest was shaken. 100,000 origin essence stones. The reward made everyone's hair stand on end. The disciples of Alcade Hall were envious. Although the legacy disciples didn't care, the core disciples and ordinary disciples all wanted these origin essence stones. For a moment, the Savage Mountain forest was densely covered with killing intent. Go Peng had roughly guessed the area. Currently, Su Yan still hadn't left the Savage Mountain forest. As long as they could provide clues, they would be rewarded with 10,000 origin essence stones. This is bad. When Zhang Shanshan received the news from Alcade Hall, her expression changed. She hurriedly rushed to the Zhang family village. Once this matter spread out, the entire Zhang family village would suffer. With Go Peng's personality, it was impossible for him to spare the Zhang family village. This child has provoked a great disaster. I don't know if he can escape. Unfortunately, our village's young village chief isn't here. He can't help Su Yan. The elders of the village were alarmed. This was the vice hall master of Alcade Hall. He had actually issued a kill order to hunt down Su Yan. Hearing this, Zhang Shanshan rolled her eyes. The elders of the village kept saying that a bear man had walked out of the Zhang family village, and that he was the young village chief. The elders of the village said that he was ridiculously fierce, but she didn't believe them. Perhaps this person had already died outside. This matter caused an uproar. Every day, a large number of cultivators would cross the border to search for Su Yan's whereabouts. Even Go Peng was constantly searching the area where the ancient void formation was interrupted. He had almost dug 3 feet into the ground, but he couldn't find anything. Go Peng was flustered and exasperated. How could he not find him? Su Yan definitely couldn't have left the Savage Mountain forest so quickly. Could it be that there was a problem with his senses? That was the blood of a true dragon, and it was also his astral treasure. It had fallen into Su Yan's hands. A frightening amount of wealth was at his fingertips. Now that the cooked duck had flown away, Gopong was unwilling. He was extremely unwilling. The entire Alcade Star was vast, and the Savage Mountain Forest was merely a border area. The matter here hadn't reached the level where it would spread to the entire Alcade Star. Alcade Star was already grand and spectacular enough. It was suffused with resplendent starlight. The Big Dipper Star region had a total of 7 supreme ancient life stars. On each ancient life star, there were many large clans. Although the Big Dipper Star region was the overlord of the Big Dipper Star region, there were also many aristocratic families in the Big Dipper Star region. For example, the Shui family was an ancient aristocratic family. They had an ancient inheritance, a long history, and an extremely solid foundation. The Shui family Shuiguan was known as the Big Dipper Supreme. Dozens of years had passed, and countless Ingjia had challenged him. Unfortunately, no one could shake the position of the Big Dipper Supreme. He was now the most dazzling young Supreme in the Big Dipper Star region. Shuiguan, since you are here, quickly enter. In the Big Dipper Star region, in a dazzling sea of stars, there were many magnificent stars that were burning. Each of these stars was intertwined with great Tao heavenly marks. They were all supreme treasures. These stars hung in the sea of stars and automatically absorbed the power of the sea of stars, including the essence chi of the universe. These stars weren't just supreme treasures. Each star was like an ancient life star. There were palaces built on these stars. Clouds and mist lingered, and primal chaos filled the air. It was sacred and dignified. Since the Big Dipper Star had sunk, the 7 major palaces under the Big Dipper Star Palace had taken root in the 7 supreme ancient life stars. The Big Dipper Star Palace had rebuilt their Tao temple here. This sea of stars was the best Tao temple. The Big Dipper Supreme is here. A message came. A group of young disciples from the Big Dipper Star Palace walked out enthusiastically to welcome Shuiguan's arrival. What a terrifying Big Dipper Supreme. After so many years, he has become more and more extraordinary. Some of the girls from the Big Dipper Star Palace had fiery eyes as they looked at the majestic Shuiguan. He walked down from the primal chaos chariot. His body was flowing with brilliance as he bathed in golden radiance. Every move he made was suffused with an invincible might. He was powerful and mysterious. There was an ancient chanting sound in his body. It was very likely that he cultivated some kind of terrifying ancient heavenly art, especially the divine art gate in his body. Strange phenomena appeared, and a terrifying aura filled the air. Shuiguan showed his foundation. In the great Tao sacred gate, there was a vague giant beast hibernating. A vermilion bird that tore through the clouds spread its wings. A giant hand that could collapse the sky stretched out. 9 strange phenomena. It was intimidating. The elders of the Big Dipper Star Palace were shocked. They smiled and said, Shuiguan, looking at the scene of your divine art gate, you have condensed many great divine arts and martial arts. When you conquer the world one day, you might be able to condense 9 great divine arts. Hearing this, Shuiguan said modestly, I have only grasped 3 great divine arts now. Elder, you are flattering me. How many people in history can obtain 9 great divine arts? Not to mention the 10 great divine arts that can shake the heavens. 3 plus his innate divine arts. That's amazing. Why doesn't that girl Bamboo Moon like Shuiguan? Rumor has it that the super forces of the other star fields want to marry Shuiguan. We must not let them beat us to it. The elders of the Big Dipper Star Palace thought to themselves. 3 was already amazing. The number of great divine arts in the entire Big Dipper Star field could be counted on one hand. There couldn't be more than 5. While they were talking, on a majestic star in the depths of the sea of stars, thousands of auspicious lights shone. The Milky Way fell from the 9 heavens. The scene was transcendent, and the sound of the great Tao echoed. Bamboo Moon was wearing a silver robe. She was graceful and elegant. Her hair was black and translucent. Her red lips were bright, and her hazy eyes contained a wisp of anger. These old fellows, don't they know that I am the Star Lord now? Bamboo Moon's anger caused a beautiful and refined young girl beside her to cover her mouth and laugh. Miss, that Shwegwan is the Big Dipper Supreme after all. Who knows how many pearls of forces want to marry him? But Shwegwan only loves Mississippi. It is clear how charming Miss is. Only you can say that. Bamboo Moon glared at the girl who had been by her side for over 100 years. She said angrily, Shwegwan is strong, but he is not worthy of the title of Big Dipper Supreme. That's right. Only a peerless Supreme who is truly invincible in the starry sky is worthy of Mississippi. The girl curled her lips. In recent years, the 7 great star halls had been restless. After all, Bamboo Moon was only a woman. Now that a woman was in charge, they were unwilling to accept it. The elders in Hall were also very anxious. Therefore, they wanted Shwegwan to marry into the Big Dipper Hall. Although this was very difficult, the elders in the hall felt that with Bamboo Moon's charm, she should be able to make Shwegwan obedient. They wanted her to interact more with Shwegwan. Right, what is the Big Dipper Fist all about? Bamboo Moon immediately frowned. The Big Dipper Fist was, after all, a secret technique of the Big Dipper Hall. Now, there was a rumor that a young man on the Alcade planet had grasped the Big Dipper Fist. Hearing this, Xiachun shook her head and said doubtfully, the news is not accurate. Our Big Dipper Hall's young Ingjia, who grasped the Big Dipper Fist, did not go out. I think the Alcade Hall's experts were mistaken. Bamboo Moon fell silent. She suddenly thought of Su Yin. She had imparted the Big Dipper Fist to Su Yin. Thinking of this, Bamboo Moon shook her head. This was impossible. How many years had it been? Su Yin couldn't have stepped into the starry skies. According to the time, Su Yin couldn't have killed a transcendent realm cultivator either. Young miss, the heaven art you cultivate is the Big Dipper Hall's ancestral scripture. The complete scripture is in the Big Dipper. Young miss, your current task is to select some Ingjia to help you retrieve the scripture. Xiachun frowned. Bamboo Moon's cultivation of the scripture had reached its limit. If she couldn't obtain the rest of the heaven art, it would be troublesome. Hearing this, Bamboo Moon frowned. This is the most troublesome thing for me. Based on the current situation of our Big Dipper Hall's younger generation, it will be very difficult to retrieve the scripture. When the Star Vault opened, there would be an extremely powerful force. It would only decrease with time. Experts like Bamboo Moon wouldn't be able to enter in just a few years. If the scripture was obtained by someone else, things would be troublesome. When the Star Vault opens, the Big Dipper Pagoda will definitely appear. That's when the Big Dipper Hall will be embarrassed. In recent years, the 7 halls have produced some prodigies who can suppress our Big Dipper Hall. Bamboo Moon frowned. The Big Dipper Hall was still the overlord of the Big Dipper constellation. If they couldn't produce any prodigies who would acknowledge their position, the Big Dipper Pagoda was a testing ground for prodigies. In the past, when the Big Dipper constellation was still a superpower, the Big Dipper Pagoda's ranking was a symbol of the younger generation's combat power. It could even select the next generation's Big Dipper Supreme. If Bamboo Moon hadn't produced any prodigies during the years she was in charge of the Big Dipper Hall, and the 7 halls used this as an excuse to make things difficult for her, the situation would be very bad. Chapter 168. The storm in the mountain forest gradually dissipated. It had already been a month. This area had been searched countless times, but Su Yin seemed to have evaporated into thin air, disappearing without a trace. Even Go Peng didn't have much hope. Some people who came to join in the fun had also left. Their gazes shifted to the Star Tomb. News of treasures being unearthed in the outer regions attracted everyone's attention. It's already been a month. Everyone should have left by now, right? Su Yin was forced into a corner. He could only use the most old-fashioned method to hide in the phoenix hairpin. As for the phoenix hairpin, it was hidden in the belly of a wild beast. He wondered what Bamboo Moon would think if she knew that her hairpin had entered the belly of a wild beast. Moreover, spatial treasures couldn't allow living things to survive. Bamboo Moon's spatial hairpin was very precious. This kind of treasure was extremely rare. Even Go Peng couldn't control such a precious spatial treasure. Within the space of the phoenix hairpin, Su Yin looked exhausted. He hadn't rested for an entire month. Looking at the pile of array discs in front of him, he nodded in satisfaction. These array discs were all forged from rare ores. Suyin originally didn't have such good things. They were all plundered from Go Jingming and the others. Space-shattering array. There are more than 100 space-shattering arrays. I don't believe that old bastard Go Peng can catch me. These space-shattering arrays are enough for me to cross to Alcade City, Suyin fiercely said. Every space-shattering array could allow one to cross a long distance. Although it couldn't compare to a void array, it was still very precious. Suyin had been inscribing with the Genesis brush for an entire month. His mastery of array, Dao, had advanced by leaps and bounds. However, it was still very difficult for Chi-Min to break through to Grade 3. If Suyin could break through to Grade 3, he would be able to control the Dragon Vein Qi. He wouldn't need to fear Go Peng. Alcade Hall must still be chasing me. I have to cultivate the Starry Sky Divine Furnace as soon as possible. When I master the True Dragon's secret technique, my physical body will be enough to fight with transcendent experts. Suyin pondered in his heart. The fastest way to cultivate the Starry Sky Divine Furnace was to obtain some star-related treasures. He was prepared to cross to Alcade City and buy some star ice. If he could increase his battle prowess, then his chances of survival on Alcade Planet would be greatly increased. I wonder how powerful the secret technique evolved from the dragon totem will be. Suyan's Yuan Shun pierced through the dragon totem on his arm. After the dragon totem absorbed the true dragon's blood, the true dragon mystic technique manifested on its own was enhanced once again. He felt that the strength of the true dragon's secret technique was close to that of a great theurgy. Could it be that if the dragon totem absorbed enough heavenly materials and earthly treasures, it would be able to manifest a great divine ability? Suyan's eyes flashed with anticipation. Great magical powers were extremely rare, especially in the field of physical body. Once mastered, one's close combat power would be greatly enhanced. Time to go. Suyin no longer hesitated. The phoenix hairpin immediately cut open the beast's belly. Suyin walked out of the phoenix hairpin. The phoenix hairpin emitted a sonorous sound and circulated with a brilliant brilliance. It shook off the blood stains and then flew into Suyan's hair. I'm still in the desolate mountain forest. Alcade City is in the south. If I use the space-breaking array, I should be able to reach Alcade City in less than a month. Suyin looked around. He wasn't in a hurry to use the space-breaking array. If Go Peng's subordinates were still lying in ambush nearby, they would definitely discover the energy fluctuations of the space-breaking array. He identified the direction and began to move the Earth Vein Qi. He began to rush through the mountain forest. Taking advantage of the night, Suyin rushed over 1,000 miles. The mountain forest gradually became less and less. He estimated that he had already rushed out of the desolate mountain forest. Suyin felt like a dragon returning to the sea. Just as he was about to rush out, an icy cold aura came from behind him. It was extremely fast. It was like a silver lightning, suddenly striking towards Suyin. Not good. Suyan's body rumbled. He fiercely broke free and soared into the sky. Bastard. Suyan's face turned ugly. He turned his head and saw a tall youth with a cold expression holding a silver bow. It was as if he saw Suyin as a wild beast and wanted to shoot him to death. The silver bow was tyrannical and filled with an austere aura. Who are you? Suyin was alert. He felt that this person's aura was similar to the Alcade Palace Hall's disciples. The tall young man, stared coldly at Suyin. He walked forward and looked down at Suyin from above. Interesting. It is just as Master predicted. You should have a spatial treasure. I didn't expect that I would wait here for you, and you would really come. Suyin's eyes were cold and gloomy. He walked forward and looked down at Suyin. You are one of Go Peng's men. Suyin almost cursed. This old bastard was really haunting him. He had been hiding for a month, but he was still discovered by his subordinates. Young man, there is no need to be nervous. The tall youth said coldly. Let me introduce myself. I am He Qingli, Go Peng's third disciple. You have guts. You even dared to kill Go Jingming. If you have something to say, then say it. Suyin was ready to act. Very simple. Hand over the Big Dipper fist, and I will pretend that I didn't see it. He Chun-Li sneered. If you're not willing to hand it over, I can only bring you back and hand you over to Gopeng. You should know the consequences. You have guts. You even dare to scheme against the Big Dipper fist. Su Yin probed. Aren't you afraid that the Big Dipper Palace Hall will kill you? Ha ha ha. He Chun-Li looked up and laughed. You still dare trick me? If you're really a disciple of the Big Dipper Palace Hall, the Big Dipper Palace Hall's experts would have come long ago. Why would they wait until now? Although I don't know how you got the Big Dipper fist, this deal is beneficial to you. Gopeng's disciples are really a mix of good and bad. They have all kinds of things. Su Yin sneered. Seems like you chose the latter. He Chun-Li's expression was cold, as if he was looking at a dead man. A murderous intent flashed in his eyes. A set of array discs flew out from Su Yan's sleeves at lightning speed and sat in all directions. When they were awakened, the array discs burned and thousands of origin essence stones were used up. In an instant, the combined array discs interweaved with a destructive aura. Array. He Chun-Li's expression changed slightly. However, he was also very extraordinary. The Tao doors in his body opened one after another and merged into one, turning into a secret door of a divine ability. It emitted a surging aura that caused the combined killing array to tremble. Boom! At that moment, Su Yin opened his mouth and spat out a sparkling cauldron. It sat in the middle of the killing array and shone on its own. It was as if a majestic ancient star was awakening and shining brightly. This is? He Chun-Li's eyes widened. He recognized that this was an ultimate treasure that was tempered by a star. What a great creation, haha. He Chun-Li looked up to the sky and laughed. His aura was fully awakened as he opened the killing array. His palm turned silver and struck out, wanting to suppress the cauldron. Su Yin snorted coldly. The divine energy contained in the natal cauldron awakened. The power of the galaxies rose into the sky one after another, filling the air with an oppressive aura. Not good. He Chun-Li's scalp went numb. The strength of Su Yan's natal cauldron exceeded his expectations. After all, it was tempered by a supreme-grade star. Its potential was shocking. Now, the galaxies falling from the cauldron's mouth could annihilate a mountain. He Chun-Li roared in pain, and his entire palm almost exploded. The natal cauldron spat out hundreds of silver ribbons, causing He Chun-Li to let out a furious roar. He released his aura completely and smashed the silver bow madly at the power of the natal cauldron. The creation is not small, but it's a pity that you can't take it away. How dare you try to kill me with just this? Su Yan's body blazed as he opened the sacred gate. At that moment, Su Yin was like a golden god of war. He swooped down and clenched his fist as he smashed it at He Chun-Li. You actually opened the sacred gate. He Chun-Li was shaken and almost lost his composure. He seriously suspected that Su Yin was a disciple of the Big Dipper Hall's legacy. He Chun-Li was also extraordinary. After all, he was a transcendent realm expert. He swung the silver bow with one hand and smashed it at the natal cauldron, while his other hand stretched out to meet Su Yan's fist. The moment the fist and palm collided, a muffled thunder exploded and tore through the sky. The mountain forest shook as countless leaves flew wildly. Blood splattered high into the air. You scoundrel! He Chun-Li's expression was sinister. His entire arm had been blasted apart. How could his body be so monstrous? However, the transcendent realm power in He Chun-Li's body caused Su Yin to tremble violently and bleed from the corner of his mouth. I'll definitely step into the transcendent realm. Su Yin was astonished. If not for his powerful body, he would have suffered greatly just now. Brat, I like to see how sturdy your body is. He Chun-Li's expression turned even uglier. Su Yan's body could withstand the power of the transcendent realm. It was truly terrifying. Still being stubborn? You're not even comparable to Go Jingming, and you still want to wait here to kill me? Who gave you the courage? Su Yan's eyes shot out light as he charged forward once again. His limbs and bones trembled with the aura of a true dragon. A blurry true dragon phantom soared from his spine and filled the sky. Damn it! He Chungli's transcendent realm spread and constantly recovered. However, what made him stare angrily was that Su Yan's natal cauldron was too shocking. It was tempered from a supreme-grade astral body and contained the power of the galaxy. As it slashed down, it vaguely distorted his transcendent realm secret door. The cauldron revolved in the sky as Su Yan's aura blazed. His entire body seemed to have transformed into a true dragon. The moment the true dragon secret skill was channeled, Su Yan's might shook the world. His entire body flowed with a golden radiance, and the aura of a true dragon spewed out of his pores, splitting the skies. This is the true dragon secret technique. He Chungli's expression changed drastically. What kind of powerful secret technique was this? Su Yan, who was in the state of the true dragon secret technique, dug out the strength of his body to the extreme. His body had turned into a killing machine that was even more shocking than a divine weapon. Boom! The natal cauldron suppressed He Chungli, suppressing a significant portion of his strength. When Su Yan pounced over, He Chungli screamed in pain. The forest was dead silent. Some of the wild beasts were trembling as if they had seen a soaring dragon roaming the 9 heavens and 10 lands swoop down to smash He Chungli into pieces. As for He Chungli's strongest strength, all sorts of transcendent realm light beams struck Su Yan's body, causing his body to tremble violently and his bones to nearly break. Su Yan also exited the true dragon secret technique state. He flew out and fell to the ground, coughing out a mouthful of blood. The transcendent realm power was very strong. Even with Su Yan's strong body, it was extremely difficult for him to resist. Luckily, my natal cauldron is strong enough. In addition to the true dragon secret technique and my body, I have to cultivate to the 6th heaven as soon as possible before I can use the Star Pagoda in battle. Otherwise, the divine power in my body would be sucked dry. Su Yan thought to himself. He stood up, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and walked forward. This poor guy doesn't even have a spatial treasure. Su Yan searched He Chungli's body for a while and took the silver bow. Without hesitation, he activated the space-breaking array and started to cross the territory. In less than an incense stick's worth of time after He Chungli was killed, waves of surging aura came crashing down furiously. Chungli, Gopeng was furious. His 3rd disciple was killed. His eyes immediately locked onto the activated space-breaking array. Bastard, let's see how far you can run. Gopeng was furious. He followed the space-breaking array's senses and started to chase after Su Yan. Old man, you won't be able to catch up with me even if you run until your legs break. I'm leaving first. Chapter 169. It's Arcade Hall's Gopeng. Deputy Hall Master Gopeng's body was boiling with anger. He was crossing the void, causing a huge commotion. In this vast region, there were many tribes and cities. Some of the cultivators who were watching noticed the experts who were crossing the void. However, Su Yan's speed was very fast with the void-breaking array. They could not see who Gopeng was chasing. Bastard, Gopeng almost spat out blood. Su Yan used void-breaking arrays one after another, squandering them like a rich man. Although his cultivation was profound, the divine power in his body could not withstand such consumption. Just like that, he was getting further and further away from Su Yan. He could only watch as Su Yan disappeared into the vast region. Damn it, there will be a day when I catch you. You can't escape from my grasp. Gopeng's hair stood on end as he let out a mournful roar. This was true dragon blood, and it was taken away by Su Yan just like that. This old thing. Su Yan had already crossed a great distance. He had used more than 50 void-breaking arrays, but he did not feel any heartache. Just like that, Su Yan was getting closer and closer to Arcade City. He stopped using void-breaking arrays and began to sprint through the vast region, leaving footprints in one ancient city after another. He was trying to understand Arcade Planet and the structure of the entire universe. Su Yan discovered that the cultivators of Arcade Planet had very little understanding of the universe. It was clear how difficult it was to step into the starry skies. Especially if one wanted to cross star fields, they would need a terrifying starry sky array. The cost was not something an ordinary force could afford. I don't know how long it will take for me to return to Earth. Suyin had already seen more than a dozen cities. He muttered to himself and looked up at the starry skies. He smiled and said, "The sky is vast. Sooner or later, Suyin, will also step into the starry skies and head to other star fields." These words caused the nearby people to sneer. The universe was vast, and the star fields were vast without roots. Not to mention stepping into the starry skies, just being able to make a name for oneself on Alcade Planet was already an amazing matter. The entire Alcade Planet's territory was difficult to measure. This was only a border area, so it was hard to meet a powerhouse. Although Alcade City was one of the prosperous ancient cities, it was nothing compared to the vast Big Dipper Star region. Suyin set out on his journey. A month passed, and he did not encounter any danger. Instead, the dragon totem helped him find some heavenly materials and earthly treasures. However, Suyin regretted that there were too few spirit herbs. Even if he could find them, they would be less than 2,000 years old. Right now, he was preparing to open the third sacred gate. Suyin went into seclusion for 3 days and 3 nights in a spirit vein that was filled with abundant essence energy. In the wee hours of the morning, the mountains trembled as layers of powerful energy rose up from the ground, piercing through the clouds. The third holy gate opened with a loud bang, and the god force in his body flourished once again. Every time he opened a holy gate, the divine power in his body would skyrocket. Third layer of heaven. Suyin stood on top of the mountain, his clothes fluttering in the wind. His body was glowing as his blood and chi surged. Every time he opened a saint gate, Suyin's body would grow stronger. He gradually slowed down. During the night, he absorbed the essence of the stars to refine the starry sky, divine furnace. During the day, he traveled. Suyin traveled a long way, and his understanding of the Big Dipper Star region increased. The Big Dipper Star region's paragon was Shueguan, and it was said that he had been pursuing Bamboo Moon. This made Suyin somewhat unhappy. What surprised him was that there was more than one Shueguan in the Big Dipper Star region. There was once a paragon physique, but he disappeared after a short period of time. It was said that Shueguan defeated him, and the paragon physique spirit was thwarted. He wondered if another paragon physique would appear in the Big Dipper Star region in the future. The star tomb seems to be very important. Suyin whispered in his heart. The Big Dipper Star was an ancient star with supreme life. After it sank, it became a forbidden zone for life. The opening of the star tomb was not fixed. Sometimes it would not open even once in 1,000 years. However, there was great fortune in the star tomb. Suyin also wanted to explore the core region of the star tomb. After all, he had mastered the Big Dipper Fist. According to the ancient legends, when the Big Dipper Star existed, if the Big Dipper Fist was unleashed on the Big Dipper Star, its power would be terrifying beyond compare. It could be considered a heavenly ability. However, because of the sinking of the Big Dipper Star, the Big Dipper Fist could no longer return to its peak. After 3 months, I'm finally here. Suyin was excited. After 3 months, he had cultivated to the peak of the 3rd grade Tao Gate realm. He was only left with an 8,000-year-old spiritual herb. He was prepared to temper himself further so that he could step into the 4th level of the Tao Gate realm. On this day, when it was almost nighttime, an extremely majestic giant city appeared at the end of the horizon. The scene was shocking. This giant city was so majestic that it was like a planet. It was called Alcade City, and it automatically absorbed the essence of the stars in the sky. In the giant city, there was even the resplendent essence of heaven and earth surging like a sea of clouds. The essence of heaven and earth contained in the giant city was too vigorous. Suyin observed the terrain and could faintly see that Alcade City was like a giant starry sky dragon that was about to rise from the ground. Good heavens, there's a huge dragon vein below. Suyin was shocked. The dragon vein of Alcade Star was many times stronger than the dragon vein of Earth. In these few months, Suyin had learned a lot of knowledge. A huge dragon vein was extremely rare. Once it appeared, it would definitely be fought over by various major forces. The entire Alcade Star only had 3 huge dragon veins. The Alcade Hall occupied one, the other was in the southern region, and the last one was occupied by an ancient family. As for Alcade City, it belonged to the central region. Dragon veins were also divided into different grades. There were also all kinds of huge dragon veins. It was rumored that the Big Dipper Star Palace was rooted on a starry sky dragon vein. It could be considered a top-notch dragon vein. I estimate that I will only be qualified to grasp such a huge dragon vein after I cultivate to the 5th or 6th level of the Tao Gate realm. However, this is also the lowest grade of huge dragon vein. Alcade City, I'm coming. Su Yin rapidly approached Alcade City. He increasingly felt the grandeur of this huge city. The sun, moon, and stars seemed insignificant in front of this huge city. There were many cultivators entering the city. Su Yan's arrival attracted a lot of attention. He was like a barbarian. His entire body was dirty, and there was a lot of beast blood on his face. The surrounding people hurriedly distanced themselves from him, unwilling to approach. Do you have an entrance fee? The guard was suspicious. He felt that Su Yin was like a villager. Not just anyone could enter Alcade City. To stay here for a month, one had to pay 500 origin essence stones. If one didn't have enough money, they would be chased out. I do. Su Yin directly took out a beast skin pouch from his back. It was filthy, and the guard disliked it very much. He scanned it with his origin spirit and found that there were 2,000 origin essence stones inside. He immediately beamed and called for Su Yin to quickly enter. What a snob, Su Yin muttered in his heart. When he glanced at his portrait at the city gate, Su Yan's face darkened. This Go Peng was really like a ghost that refused to leave. However, Su Yin had changed his appearance when he arrived. He moved his facial bones slightly, so there were some differences from his original appearance. Be careful. This is right under the nose of Alcade Palace. Only after arriving in the city did Su Yin experience the prosperity of the cultivation world. The wide streets were filled with people coming and going in an endless stream. Powerful cultivators could be seen everywhere. On both sides of the streets were all kinds of dazzling shops that sold all kinds of cultivation items. Su Yin was very familiar with it. He quickly found a shop and took out 1,000 origin essence stones to rent a cultivation room. He also asked the waiter to prepare some good clothes. If I don't have money, I can only sleep on the streets. Su Yin knew that many disciples of small clans came to Alcade City to absorb the essence energy of the large dragon vein. However, renting a cultivation room was too expensive. They could only cultivate on the streets. As for 1,000 origin essence stones, it was only enough to rent a low-class cultivation room for a month. Su Yin took a hot bath and changed into a clean set of clothes before leaving the shop. These shops sell all kinds of treasures. There are indeed many more things than those in small cities. Furthermore, there are even Dharma manifestation weapons to buy. However, the prices shocked Su Yin. A very ordinary Dharma manifestation weapon was priced at 1,000,000 origin essence stones. This is too expensive. The 9 Dragons treasure sword that I gave to Bao Kai can be sold for at least 10 million origin essence stones. No, the 9 Dragons treasure sword is a Tao weapon. As for Tao weapons, they are not for sale. Su Yin walked around for half a day. In some of the luxurious shops, he did not find a Tao weapon. He asked the girl who recommended all kinds of treasures. The girl looked at him like he was an idiot. What kind of treasure was a Tao weapon? Who would take it out to sell? A single Tao weapon was enough to protect a family for 1,000 years. Bamboo Moon is rich. The value of the Star Pagoda is probably astronomical. Su Yin continued to walk for a while and found a large shop in front of him. There were many people watching. He squeezed his way in and clenched his fists slightly. A group of slaves in ragged clothes were chained up with iron chains. Some of the slaves had powerful auras, like ferocious beasts. They had astonishing explosive power and were suitable for guarding a house. Some of the women with outstanding looks wore sexy gauze dresses. Their snow-white bodies were faintly discernible, attracting the attention of others. Come take a look. These are vixens of excellent quality. It wasn't easy to hunt down 3 of them. 30,000 origin essence stones for one. Come take a look. Some of the surrounding men's eyes were burning. They saw 3 beautiful vixens with voluptuous figures. They were extremely charming and had snow-white skin. They were lovely and moving. They were being judged and haggled in public. Su Yan's mood was terrible. If Earth had been enslaved by Zhu Hong and the others back then, the people of Earth would have been transported here and become slaves. Su Yan's gaze fell on a man with a wooden expression. It was a young slave. He was tall and muscular, with dark yellow skin and messy hair. His hands and feet were bound by iron chains. He was silent and his eyes were lifeless. For some reason, Su Yan felt that there was something wrong with this slave. He even felt a sense of familiarity. Su Yan was a little suspicious. He observed carefully for a while and found that the slave was staring at him with lifeless eyes. His eyes were very deep, like a deep pool. He just stared at Su Yan. Just as Su Yan was about to open his mouth and by this slave, someone beat him to it. Sigh. Su Yan shook his head. There were countless slaves in the world. What was the use of sympathy? Su Yan left and walked on the street. He walked very quickly, wanted to get away from this place. He was looking for a business alliance, the Cosmos Business Alliance. In the entire Alcade planet, only Alcade City had the Cosmos Business Alliance. He had learned over the past few months that the Cosmos Business Alliance was a business alliance that spanned across star fields. Its financial strength was frightening. It was said that this business alliance was established by a group of big shots who traverse the universe. Even the Big Dipper Palace Hall wouldn't easily offend the Cosmos Business Alliance. First of all, they had the ability to transport goods between the major star fields. This method was already very frightening. It was said that some of the major powers in the Big Dipper star field had dealings with the Cosmos Business Alliance. Su Yan wanted to sell the stolen goods, but only the Cosmos Business Alliance dared to buy them. Bao Kai shop. Su Yan was surprised when he noticed a shop from the corner of his eye. He also noticed that there were a lot of onlookers and business was booming. Most of them were women. Where are Tai Bao Kai and teacher Yi Yuan? Su Yan walked in to take a look. When he entered, his face darkened. He could confirm that this was a shop opened by Tai Bao Kai. F***CK. Chapter 170. The store was filled with young women who were dressed gorgeously and had extraordinary temperaments. They were all young ladies from wealthy families. They were all fighting over various goods and discussing excitedly, but they all looked shy and charming. Although the store wasn't big, it couldn't even be squeezed in. Su Yan only took a few glances inside before he was pushed out. He was stunned. Only Tai Bao Kai would do something like this. It couldn't be Yi Yuan. He was sure that it was Tai Bao Cai's store. Su Yan used all his strength to squeeze in. A group of young and beautiful women angrily hit him, and Su Yan was pushed out again. Su Yan squatted there and waited until there were fewer people before he went in. After half a day, the Bao Kai store's goods were all sold out. Only then did the women leave, still unsatisfied. Before they left, they told the waiter to leave something for them when the store opened for business the next morning. How much did Tai Bao Kai earn? Where did it get the origin essence stones to rent a store? Su Yan squatted at the entrance and looked at the beautiful women who were trying to woo him. They were all curvaceous and had good figures. Their sexy black stockings wrapped around their snow-white thighs, attracting the attention of passers-by. Some men couldn't help but feel their blood boil. The Bao Kai store's reputation had spread far and wide. Some stores wanted to copy it, but the Bao Kai store released all kinds of new goods day after day, catching them off guard. They could only watch as the Bao Kai store grew bigger day by day, accumulating a lot of popularity. Little brother, we're already closed. Come back tomorrow. The goods are all sold out. A few young women in the store were panting and tired. The goods on the counter were all sold out. Where did Tai Bao Kai go? Su Yan walked up and asked in a low voice. Hearing this, the old man in charge of the store was shocked. He narrowed his eyes and stared at Su Yan warily. Who are you? Let me tell you, our store has already cooperated with the Cosmos Business Alliance. We won't cooperate with any other powers. Su Yan was also shocked. Tai Bao Kai could cooperate with the Cosmos Business Alliance? I'm a friend of Tai Bao Kai. Su Yan said in a low voice. I know what kind of black stockings, bras, and underwear you're selling. You're too expensive. You dare to sell a pair of black stockings for 300 origin essence stones? Tai Baokai is too shady. Go call it out. The little old man stammered. You get what you pay for. Don't you know how many people pay attention to those women wearing sexy lingerie? Women have to dress themselves up. They have to be willing to spend money and put in their capital. Su Yan's face darkened. Tai Baokai had opened an underwear store. Its business was booming. Go call Tai Baokai over, Su Yan urged. Tell him that I'm Su Yan. Tell him to come out. Oh, so you're Su Yan. The old man immediately became spirited and warmly greeted Su Yan. He grinned and said, Uncle Baokai told me about you. I didn't think you'd really come. However, Uncle Baokai isn't home. He's been gone for more than a month. I don't know when he'll be back. Su Yan let out a sigh of relief. It really was Tai Baokai. It seemed like it was fine. When did this store open? Su Yan asked. What's the deal with the Cosmos Business Alliance? How could it be easy to open a store in Alcade City? Our store had just opened, and Alcade Palace Hall wanted to swallow up our business. Fortunately, Uncle Baokai and the manager of the Cosmos Business Alliance pulled us in. They said that in the future, our goods will be sold in the universe. That's a store in the vast universe. The old man was so excited that his entire body was trembling. What? Su Yan was stunned. To think that there was such a thing. The Cosmos Business Alliance will give you a share of the profits? Su Yan asked. Wasn't this selling a fortune? How is that possible? The Cosmos Business Alliance will at most give some benefits. The old man shook his head and said, After all, it's clothes. A tailor can imitate it with a few glances. The main thing is to fight speed. They want to earn a huge amount of money in the shortest time possible. That's why the Cosmos Business Alliance cooperated with Uncle Baokai. Uncle Baokai provided a fresh idea, so they gave him a sum of money. It's actually not much, but the manager of the Cosmos Business Alliance said that if the goods sold well in the universe, they would give Tai Baokai commission. Su Yan nodded. These stockings were very easy to imitate. They would only earn a little more in the early stages. However, if they were to open lingerie stores in the universe, they would definitely be able to earn a huge amount of money in a short period of time. Just in time, I'm going to the Cosmos Business Alliance. Su Yan pondered for a moment and said, Can you introduce me to someone? Of course. The person who contacted Uncle Baokai is an incredible person. The old man said very enthusiastically, If you have other ideas, you can tell this important person. She came a few days ago and urged Uncle Baokai to give her some more ideas. However, Uncle Baokai went out, so I can't do anything. That's good. Let's go. Su Yan smiled treacherously. This thing had too many tricks, and he could not count them all. Just like that, the old man brought Su Yan to the Cosmos Business Alliance. Su Yan was surprised. The entire street belonged to the Cosmos Business Alliance. It covered an area of more than 10 square kilometers. However, there were relatively fewer cultivators here. Those who could come to the Cosmos Business Alliance had powerful backgrounds. The old man brought Su Yan to the Cosmos Business Alliance with ease. He took out a jade token and handed it to the young lady who served them. He said, We have something to discuss with Lady Zi Xioning. The young lady quickly nodded. Zi Xioning was an important person in the Cosmos Business Alliance branch in Alcade City. She didn't dare to delay and quickly informed Zi Xioning. The old man left. Su Yan waited quietly for a while. The young lady came back and took Su Yan away. The Underground Business Alliance was very big. There were some cultivators in the hall. There were all kinds of treasures on the counter. Su Yan couldn't take it all in. Along the way, they went to the Merchants Alliance on the 3rd level. There were very few people here, and they were all in private rooms. Lady Zi Xioning is here. You can go in by yourself. The young lady left. Su Yan pushed open a purple wooden door. When he walked in, his heart trembled. He smelled a strange fragrance. His primordial spirit in his forehead was stimulated to the point that it shone brightly. Su Yan was shocked. This fragrance could help the primordial spirit cultivate, nourish the soul energy, and calm the mind. Good heavens, what kind of fragrance is this? Su Yan saw an incense burner. Smoke curled up and auspicious clouds shot out. The fragrance made Su Yan's primordial spirit burn. It must be very valuable. Su Yin was speechless. This Zi Xiaoning was too rich. The room was not small. The decorations were simple and elegant. He walked in. The scene here made Su Yan's heart beat faster. Zi Xiaoning was lazily lying on the recliner. Her waist was slender, and her curvaceous body was fully exposed. She was wearing a bright red cheongsam, which made her look extremely charming and charming. Her snow-white lotus arms were exposed to the outside, and the white was very dazzling, especially the split cheongsam, revealing the beautiful legs wrapped in sexy black stockings, showing the charm of a woman to the fullest. "You're here. Please take a seat." Zi Xiaoning opened her eyes. Her long and narrow eyes moved. When she noticed Su Yan's appearance, she was a little surprised. She stood up. Her ample buttocks were full. Her temperament was elegant and mature. Her every move exuded a mature, womanly charm. Su Yan couldn't help but take a few more glances. This woman's temperament was the complete opposite of Bamboo Moon. Bamboo Moon had a graceful and elegant classical beauty, while Zi Xiaoning was like a delicate rose. She was enchanting and charming. "Where's the Bao Kai?" Zi Xiaoning looked at Su Yan with great interest. She had a strong interest in the Tai Bao Kai. The fluffy and extremely cute panda was very greedy, which gave Zi Xiaoning a headache. "Miss, the Bao Kai is not in the shop." Su Yan sat down and said, "I heard that you need some ideas. I came to provide them." "You? Am I that old?" Zi Xiaoning's bright red lips hooked up a seductive arc. She smiled and said, "Don't call me you. Call me Xiaoning. I do need some ideas. If you have them, tell me directly. I will pay you." Xiaoning." Su Yan scratched his head and glanced at Zi Xiaoning. He couldn't help but recall some scenes in the blockbuster. He compared her with Zi Xiaoning. He couldn't help but curse in his heart. "What a goblin. Are you saying that I'm a goblin?" Zi Xiaoning walked with light steps. Her black hair fluttered gently. Her eyes were long and narrow. Her waist was slender, and her legs were faintly discernible under the skirt. She was alluring. "You know what I'm thinking?" Su Yan was shocked. How could she know what he was thinking? "What's so strange about that? It's just telepathy. You didn't hide in front of me, so I can feel some of your thoughts." Zi Xiaoning's words made Su Yan's hair stand. There was such a supernatural power. Su Yan quickly collected his thoughts and said awkwardly, "I saw Miss Xiaoning's stunning appearance and couldn't help but sigh. I have ideas, a lot of them." "Oh, tell me quickly or draw them down." Zi Xiaoning's eyes lit up. With the fresh clothes provided by Tai Bao Kai, she felt that she could make a lot of money. She could even build up her foundation in the Cosmos Business Alliance. Su Yan was very embarrassed. He projected some images with his primordial spirit. However, these images didn't make Zi Xiaoning angry. Instead, she was very happy. Good. She was a woman and naturally knew what women liked. Although these undergarments were a little explicit, once they were publicized, they would sell like hotcakes. After all, the ideas Su Yan gave her were developed by modern people on Earth. The Big Dipper starfield and the universe had the same style as ancient Huaxia, so she hadn't come into contact with such things. "Is there anything else?" Zi Xiaoning smiled. "If there is, just give it to me. Don't be stingy like Tai Bao Kai. Don't worry, there will be plenty of benefits for you." Hearing this, Su Yan stood up and said, "Miss Xiaoning, I don't need any benefits. I just want you to help me find something. I'll pay for it. Tell me." Zi Xiaoning was a little surprised. "Sacred medicine." Su Yan's words made Zi Xiaoning frown. She looked at Su Yan and said, "Little guy, are you trying to make me happy? Even if I can help you find sacred medicine, can you afford it?" Hearing this, Su Yan quickly said, "I don't need a single stalk. I need a part of it. A part of it." Seeing that Zi Xiaoning wasn't shocked, Su Yan took a deep breath. It seemed that he had met a woman with power. This woman's power was terrifying. She might not be much inferior to Bamboo Moon. "Sure, but you have to be able to afford it." Zi Xiaoning thought for a while and said, "But you have to wait a few years. After a few years, I will send you a batch of goods. I can help you get a part of the sacred medicine." "A few years?" Su Yan smiled bitterly. "I can't wait a few years. I'm asking for medicine to save my life. So that's how it is." Xioning frowned and said, "Then that's troublesome. If you want a stock of sacred medicine, I can help you open the Starry Sky formation and send you the goods. But a small part is not worth the price. The Cosmos Business Alliance won't make a loss." Su Yin was bald. This was his only hope, and it was destroyed so mercilessly. Chapter 171. Auction. Su Yan's eyes lit up. If a large-scale auction were to be held in the Big Dipper starfield, which was a flourishing cultivation starfield, it would definitely attract powerhouses from all over. He might really be able to obtain some primordial divine elixirs. Yes, on the premise that your item is good enough. The Cosmos Business Alliance won't help you advertise ordinary items. Xioning was enchanting and beautiful, her lips bright red. She knew very well that even a portion of primordial divine elixirs could not be exchanged for ordinary items. What Su Yin took out next surprised Xioning. True dragon's blood. Xioning's eyes were sparkling as she received the jar that Su Yin had taken out. After the jar was opened, waves after waves of exuberant essence, blood undulation spread out. There was even a phenomenon of a real dragon soaring into the sky. How is it? Su Yin was a little nervous. Xioning was thinking, and this gave Su Yin a bad feeling. He took out 2 more jars. "Do you have more?" Xioning asked. Su Yin shook his head and smiled bitterly. "Is it still not enough?" Hearing this, Xioning was silent for a while, then said, "How should I put it? It's definitely valuable, but it's a pity that this true dragon's blood has lost a lot of its divine power over the years. I can only say that it's a type of true dragon's blood of the lowest level." Su Yin sighed. It was similar to what he had imagined. The divine power contained in the true dragon's blood was limited. Otherwise, his physical body would have been greatly enhanced when he was reconstructing it. But Xioning smiled again, her eyes rippling with heart-trembling waves. She said with a smile, 3 jars of true dragon's blood, about 5 kilograms. It's a lot. Although the value is lower, it's worth advertising. I estimate that there's a 50% chance of exchanging it for the primordial divine elixirs you need. 50%. Su Yin frowned. This was not the result he wanted. He wanted 100%. This is already very high. Do you think essence divine herbs are cabbages? Xioning smiled and said, "I estimate that there are no more than 10 sacred medicines in the entire Big Dipper constellation. Of course, these are just ordinary sacred medicines. As for primordial divine medicines, they are very rare. Even a small portion of them is worth a lot. They can be used as healing sacred medicines." "Well then, I'll leave it to you, Miss Xioning." Su Yin sighed slightly. He could only wait for the auction to start and see the results. "I'll do my best." Xioning returned the true dragon blood to Su Yin and said, "You must come to the auction. Otherwise, you will be blacklisted by the Cosmos Business Alliance." "I understand." Su Yin nodded. He continued to ask, "Does the Business Alliance have star rice?" Hearing this, Xioning rolled her eyes. For a moment, she was charming and dazzling. She sneered and said, "It's just star rice. We have plenty of top-grade star rice here. Tell me, how much do you want?" "Top-grade star rice." Su Yin was a little surprised. Xioning transmitted her voice to the people outside. Soon, the star rice was delivered. There were 3 types of star rice. Su Yin had eaten the first type of star rice before. The second type of star rice contained even more star divine energy. As for the third type of star rice, it was astonishing. The golden star rice contained exuberant star divine energy. Every grain of rice was engraved with golden stars. This was the golden rice. Although it was small, its appearance was mystical. It was filled with golden light. "How much is this golden rice?" Su Yin was envious. This thing was a little precious. 1 grain was worth more than 10 ordinary grains. Of course, more importantly, this star rice contained very pure divine power. It was very suitable for the human body to absorb. "Only trade, not sell." Xioning was like a vixen. She squinted her long and narrow eyes and said, "I don't tell ordinary people. Top-grade star rice can't be traded with origin essence stones. It requires some rare treasures, or you can take out the heavenly essence stone." Su Yin didn't know what the heavenly essence stone was. He He made a prompt decision and took out Go Peng's astral treasure and handed it to Zixioning. This thing looks familiar. Little guy, I really underestimated you. Zixioning chuckled. Her eyes were shining. She stared at the astral treasure for a while and said with surprise, You really want to sell it? This treasure is about to be born. Once it is born, its value will increase by dozens of times. Suyin did not expect Go Peng, this old thing, to be so close to comprehending the great Tao. A great being who could nurture a Tao weapon was extremely terrifying and belonged to the universe. Go Peng was only half a step away from becoming a universe great being. There was no need to say more about the value of a Tao divine weapon. It was extremely rare and precious. This astral treasure was considered a quasi-Tao divine weapon, so its value was shocking. This is an astral treasure, Suyin said. The value can't be too low, right? Of course. The value of this treasure is not inferior to an ordinary Tao divine weapon. Zixioning pondered for a while and said, This astral treasure can be exchanged for 3,000 grains of top-grade star rice. What? Only 3,000 grains? Suyin was shocked. This was too cheap. You think it's too little? Zixioning rolled her eyes at Suyin and said, Do you think top-grade star rice is cabbage? Even the legacy disciples of Alcade Palace Hall can't eat it often. I spent a Li's Chi to buy it from Big Dipper Palace Hall. As the saying goes, the rarer something is, the more expensive it is. This is already a lot. I dare to bet that in the entire Alcade City, there isn't a single chamber of commerce that sells top-grade star rice. Zixioning's solemn vow made Suyin speechless. He pondered for a while and chose to trade. Don't worry, you won't lose too much. Zixioning's words made Suyin's face turn black. He didn't know the market. If you have other ideas, you can give them to me at once. I'll give you a satisfactory price. Zixioning was very interested in the lingerie store. I'll tell you when I think of something. I'll take my leave first. I'll come again when the auction starts. Suyin stood up and bid his farewells. Zixioning gave Suyin an invitation card and repeatedly urged him to come. The room quieted down. Zixioning lazily reclined on a recliner. Her voluptuous figure rose and fell, and her eyes were slightly closed. Miss, you shouldn't have too much involvement with the people of Buried Region. Ripples appeared in the space as a black-robed figure walked out. His body was faintly emitting terrifying spatial fluctuations. He said in a low voice, If the family finds out, there will be a lot of trouble. Some people want to see you make a fool of yourself. Zixioning. Very few people knew that she was the person in charge of the Cosmos Business Alliance in Big Dipper Star region. It could be said that her authority reached the heavens. In the Cosmos Business Alliance, she was an important figure. She controlled a terrifying amount of resources and could easily cause a great commotion in the universe. Hearing this, Zixioning was silent for a moment. Then, she said, This Suyin shouldn't be someone from Buried Region. The black-robed figure bitterly smiled. Miss, that mysterious type Bao Kai has a mysterious origin. I can't see through it at all. However, it has the aura of Buried Region on its body, and it's very thick. Since this little fellow is related to the Tai Bao Kai, it's best to avoid contact with him if possible. Buried Region was a place that could cause great figures to pale with fright. It was the most terrifying life, forbidden zone. Many terrifying superpowers had their eyes on Buried Region. As long as one lived in Buried Region, they were on their must-kill list. The Cosmos Business Alliance has been in chaos for the past few years. If we can find that thing in the Star Tomb, then things will be different. Zixioning's words caused the black-robed figure to laugh. The Star Tomb is indeed about to open. When the Big Dipper Star collapsed, my clan's supreme treasure was buried along with it. If you want to find someone to take the treasure, I think it's best to find Shueguan. After all, his combat strength in the Big Dipper Star region is superb. He has the greatest hope. Shueguan. I admit that he is strong. He can be considered invincible among his peers in the Big Dipper Star region. However, his appetite is too great. Someone in my clan must have come into contact with him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked for such an exorbitant price. What does he take me, Zixioning, for? Zixioning's beautiful face flashed with coldness. It was obvious that she had discussed this matter with Shueguan. However, it hadn't gone as well as she had expected. She also knew that finding Shueguan was the best choice, but how precious was a great supernatural ability? A great supernatural ability? That's a good deal. The black-robed figure couldn't help but say. Zixioning's face was unfriendly. She snorted and said, in his dreams. Besides, this Su Yin isn't simple either. This star treasure should be Go Peng's. He was able to escape from Go Peng's clutches and come here. Su Yin isn't simple either. He must have come from another galaxy. I have never seen the ideas that Tai Baokai and Su Yin gave me. I admit that. However, you can't be pinning your hopes on this little guy, right? The black-robed figure said helplessly. Let him walk with a group of young geniuses from another galaxy. Do you think they're the same kind of people? I'm just giving a try. Besides, I don't need to pay anything, Zixioning said calmly. I think Miss should go to the Big Dipper Palace. You have a good relationship with Bamboo Moon. Why don't you let her help you select some elites? The black-robed figure said again. He didn't think highly of Su Yin at all. Bamboo Moon may be the Star Lord, but the Big Dipper Palace has a group of old farts oppressing her. In addition, the 7-star palaces are eyeing her covetously. It said that a part of the Big Dipper Palace's important inheritance is still in the Big Dipper. She needs people now. I don't want to trouble her. Besides, it's not good to let the Big Dipper Palace know about this. Zixioning rubbed her son's star. She had a headache. The thing she was looking for was too important. She couldn't just ask someone to help her. Su Yin returned. He was preparing to go into seclusion for a period of time to refine all 3,000 grains of star rice. Su Yin was a little surprised. When he was about to reach the cultivation room, he saw the slave he had met before. This young man was sitting on the ground. His whole body was dirty. There were some bloodstains left behind by the chains on his body. His messy hair was draped over his shoulders. He sat there and looked at the sky. His skin was dark yellow. It was obvious that he was lacking in nutrition. Sigh. Su Yin shook his head and sighed. He went to a nearby restaurant and bought a basket of steaming buns. He placed it in front of the young man. The young man raised his head and saw Su Yin. He lowered his head and looked at the steaming buns that Su Yin placed in front of him. His calloused hands held one in each hand. He gnawed on it crazily. It looked like he had gone crazy from hunger. Hurry up and think of a way to leave. Chapter 172. This cultivation room wasn't big, but the essence energy that permeated the air was vigorous. Su Yin sat cross-legged and took out 3,000 grains of star rice. He murmured, ever since I came to Alcade Planet, I haven't cultivated properly. I'll cultivate in Alcade City during this time and wait for the auction to start. I hope I can cultivate the starry sky divine furnace. This way, my survival on Alcade Planet will be greatly enhanced. Su Yin ate the first grain of golden rice. After chewing it, strands of golden divine light inside the golden rice sprinkled down, falling into his body. This divine light contained the divine power of the stars and was very pure. He didn't even need to refine it to nourish his body. This kind of energy was naturally beneficial to the human body. It nourished the body and strengthened the body's divine treasures. If he could eat the best star rice for a long time, his body would transform into a star treasure body. Of course, this was very difficult. The star treasure body was second only to the king body. It's really powerful. Let's start cultivating the starry sky divine furnace. Su Yin took a deep breath and closed his eyes. He followed the initial sutra's method of tempering his body. His body glowed, and his bones and tendons hummed in unison, producing rhythmic sounds. A sonorous sound could be heard. Heaven and earth furnace, golden body furnace, starry sky, divine furnace. The heaven and earth furnace mainly cultivates the source of blood. The golden body furnace mainly cultivates the body's shell. As for the starry sky divine furnace, it mainly cultivates the 5 viscera, tendons, and bones. Chi, body, and interior. 3 grades of body tempering techniques. Once Su Yin finished cultivating all 3 of them, his physical body's combat prowess would be terrifying. With the 3 great furnaces combined, he would be able to dig out the potential of his physical body and laid down a shocking foundation. Only then could he cultivate the core body tempering method of the initial sutra, the Great Tao Heavenly Furnace. Once the Great Tao Heavenly Furnace was cultivated, it would be truly terrifying. Su Yan's combat strength would be completely different. He could be called a universe powerhouse. Every grain of star rice contained the pure power of the stars. It began to nourish the 5 viscera and temper the body's bones and tendons. If he could complete it, Su Yan's bones would be like a mountain and his 5 viscera would be like a sea of stars. At that time, Su Yan's body would erupt with powerful vitality. His combat strength would be extraordinary, and it would be easy to move mountains and rivers. Day after day, every day, the energy released from Su Yan's body would grow stronger. What a joke! This was the highest grade star rice. Even if one had the money, it would be hard to buy it. Bastard. On this day, in the depths of Brilliant City, this isolated world was suffused with the flames of fury. Gopang had almost breathed his last. He had just received an invitation from the Cosmos Business Alliance. The invitation contained a batch of valuable items, and he saw true dragon blood among them. This true dragon blood had just appeared a few days ago. The true dragon blood that Su Yan had given to the Cosmos Business Alliance had been added to the auction by Zixioning. Why do you think so? This was because Gopang had seen an astral treasure in the auction. This was his treasure. If Go Jingming hadn't gone to explore the star tomb, he wouldn't have taken out such a treasure to protect Go Jingming. How bold! Who is it? Isn't this too unscrupulous? Killing Go Jingming is one thing, but to actually take out Gopang's treasure and auction it. We must find him. The people outside are laughing at our Brilliance planet. We must find him. The entire Brilliance Hall was in an uproar. After all, the treasure that Gopang had refined was quite famous. With his status in Brilliance Hall, all the major powers knew about it. But the Cosmos Business Alliance was still the Cosmos Business Alliance. Even if Gopang had more courage, he still wouldn't dare to offend the Cosmos Business Alliance. This matter caused an uproar, but Su Yan wasn't aware of it. He had been cultivating all this time. A few days later, deep rumbling sounds that sounded like thunder started to ripple from the depths of his flesh shell. At first, it was very weak, but as time passed, the thunderous sounds coming from Su Yan's body became louder and louder. Dong, dong, dong. His limbs and bones rippled with golden light, and his internal organs resounded with rhythmic sounds. His organs seemed to have turned into golden divine ponds. They were filled with the aura of the starry skies, and there were vague images of celestial bodies rising and falling. Su Yan had already eaten 1,000 golden grains of rice. Every day, Su Yan's aura changed. This continued for half a month. Su Yan's organs began to emit sounds like waves crashing against each other. A strange phenomenon appeared behind him. It was as if thousands of layers of golden waves were whistling up. This was a very shocking manifestation. This was the potential power that originated from Su Yan's physical body. It was the power that belonged to his physical body. Su Yan's organs were like golden divine ponds, filled with vigorous strength. The bones in his body began to resonate. Under the nourishment of the starry rice, his bones turned a light gold color. Another half a month passed. Su Yan's bones changed. They were filled with a mountain-like aura. This was a vigorous and imposing strength that seemed to be able to pierce through the skies. The bones began to resonate, just like the celestial bones. There wasn't much starry rice left. Su Yan swallowed it all in one go. He was a little disappointed. There was still too little starry rice. Bam! Su Yan's body recovered. Waves of vigorous strength emerged from within and broke out of his body. At this moment, it was as if there was a star revolving in Su Yan's body. It was being released from the inside out. It was an astonishing scene. Su Yan's body turned golden. The source of his qi and blood was like a rising and falling river. When the internal strength passed through his limbs and bones, his body was filled with a terrifying strength that could easily shatter the skies. Heaven and earth furnace, golden body furnace, and starry sky, divine furnace. At the moment when the basic secret technique of the three great initial scriptures was activated, Su Yan's strength was monstrous. His entire body seemed to have transformed into a piece of divine metal that was filled with an indestructible and overbearing strength. The powerful body carried the power of the three gates of Daesung. When the Initiation Sutra was activated, Su Yan's aura skyrocketed. Very good. Su Yan's face was filled with joy. His battle prowess had increased once again. His close combat strength had greatly increased. Ordinary Transcendent Realm experts would find it difficult to threaten Su Yan's life. And it seems like the fourth sacred gate is about to open. Su Yan didn't use the 8,000-year-old spiritual herbs. Instead, he took out a large amount of Origin Essence Stones. He still had a lot of Origin Essence Stones on him. Surging Origin Essence Chi was released from his body. Tens of thousands of Origin Essence Stones were petrified, and the Origin Essence Chi flowed into the life springs. The fourth sacred door that had been loosened finally opened under Su Yan's continuous attacks. Su Yan's aura climbed steadily. He had stepped into the fourth heavenly layer of the Tao Gate realm. The divine energy in his body was even more turbulent. After all, he was opening a sacred gate. Every time he opened a sacred gate, his battle prowess would increase by a notch. Once the 9 gates of Daesung were opened, the divine energy in Su Yan's body would be extremely terrifying. It's a pity that I don't have enough spiritual herbs. Also, the Origin Essence Stones are less useful to me. On a supreme ancient planet like the Alcade planet, there should be better Origin Essence Stones than the Origin Essence Stones, right? He sighed. He needed spiritual herbs. The main thing was that he had enough of them. With his physical body's foundation, he would soon be able to stand at the 9th heavenly layer of the Tao Gate realm. Su Yan calculated the time. The auction was approaching. He started to comprehend the true dragon's secret technique. Su Yan reckoned that if the dragon totem obtained other things, it would definitely evolve the true dragon's secret technique to an even more profound level. He had to grasp it as soon as possible. This way, when it evolved, it would be easier to understand. Days passed by. Su Yan was also very anxious. He didn't know if he could use the true dragon blood to exchange for the Essence Divine Elixir. He took out the Frost Jade Bed from the Phoenix Hairpin. The Frost Jade Bed had shrunk a little. Yin was lying on the Frost Jade Bed. Her body was overflowing with light, and her body was faintly emitting wisps of divine light. Without a doubt, Yin's physique was very special. After absorbing the divine energy of the Frost Jade Bed, her physique would definitely be even stronger if she woke up. Su Yan looked at Isi. His fists slowly clenched as he looked at her aged face. This ice beauty who was once a natural beauty had become a living dead because of him. Don't worry. I will definitely save you. In this world, there must be a power that can rejuvenate one. Su Yan took a deep breath and stored the Frost Jade Bed into the Phoenix Hairpin's spatial zone. He calmed his heart and started to comprehend the true dragon secret technique again. After a few days, Su Yan came out of seclusion. He calculated the time and realized that it was almost time for the auction to begin. Let's go out and take a look. There must be some important figures in Brilliant City. Su Yan got up and left. When he came outside, he could feel that there were more cultivators with powerful auras in Brilliant City than before. He even saw many mutated beasts with powerful auras in the city. Although the scene was somewhat out of place, the mutated beasts could move freely in the city. There were also some strange-looking people. They all had human bodies, but their bodies were different from humans. Su Yan was greatly surprised. He looked at a man with a pair of wings on his back. His wings were surrounded by flames that could burn through space. The winged man noticed Su Yan's strange gaze. He glared at Su Yan. His eyes were surrounded by flames, giving Su Yan a fright. He felt dizzy. I can't look blindly. It is said that there are billions of races in the universe. The human race is just one of them. Su Yan thought to himself. Horned beast. It was a mutated beast covered in black scales. It had a horn on its forehead that spewed out a black, fiendish aura. Its eyes were cold, and its body was emitting vigorous blood essence fluctuations. It shocked everyone around. This was a young Horn beast, but its aura was very powerful. Su Yin felt suppressed. This Horn beast was an extraordinary genius. It followed behind a black-clothed old man. This old man also had a black horn on his head that interweaved with profound down marks. Without a doubt, this was a powerful Horn beast that had transformed into a human. The Horn beast behind him should be his son. Su Yin left and prepared to go to the Baokai shop to take a look. As he walked, Su Yin realized that someone was following him. He turned his head in confusion and saw the tall slave he met before. Su Yin frowned. After walking for a while, he realized that this person was still following him. "I say, you can't keep following me." Su Yin felt a headache. Chapter 173. Could it be that he's a mute? Su Yin shook his head slightly and walked to the Baokai shop regardless. On the way, he bought another basket of buns and handed it to him. "Don't follow me. Wait for me here." Su Yan's words seemed to make the young man understand. He nodded and squatted on the ground to nibble on the bun. "This guy, if he's caught by the city guards, it will be troublesome. I'll send him out later." As an aboriginal planet, Su Yin was not a hard-hearted person. However, it was not a good idea for him to follow him like this. Su Yin knew that he had a lot of trouble. The Baokai shop was still very lively. Some women dressed in sexy clothes were shouting in the shop, and the cultivators passing by frequently glanced at them. "Make way, make way!" Su Yin tried his best to squeeze in. Anyway, he was not at a disadvantage. The women in the crowd shouted and scolded. A man squeezing in like this made their eyes spit fire. What was a man doing in such a private shop? Su Yan's face was not red, and he was not out of breath. He shouted, "Make way! I'm here to deliver the goods. I'm here to deliver the goods." The room was filled with soft fragrance and warm jade. Suddenly, there was a burst of laughter. These women chattered and asked if there were any new goods. Some of them even boldly pulled Su Yan's hand and asked him to go to their houses to do it. Su Yin complained incessantly and shouted, "Don't worry, the new goods will be here soon. I guarantee that they will be sexy and enchanting. They will be very tempting. They will definitely hook your ideal husband and make you a bride every night. Girls, don't worry." Puffed. The women around blushed and fiercely took a bite. Su Yin laughed and walked in. He saw that the goods in the shop were almost sold out. Panting heavily, the little old man said with a flushed face, "Su Yin, you're finally here. Hurry up and get some new goods and take the opportunity to make a fortune. There are many lingerie shops in Brilliant City now, and they're snatching business for us. We must act quickly, or else the popularity we've accumulated will slowly dissipate." The little old man knew that some large lingerie stores had opened and even had ample supplies. The reason why their shop was so popular was because of the endless ideas left behind by Tai Baokai. There were too many variations. "I was waiting for you to give you some ideas." Su Yin whispered, "Is Tai Baokai back yet?" "I don't know. Grandpa Baokai has been gone for a few months, and there's still no trace of it." The little old man quickly said, "Could it have met with an accident? How is that possible? It's as timid as its life. It runs faster than anyone else when something is wrong." Su Yan's reply made the little old man happy. Then Su Yin whispered, "How many origin essence stones have you sold during this time? Where did you store them?" The little old man jumped in fright and said in a panic, "Grandpa Baokai told me that if I'm missing even a single piece, he'll make me go out and scavenge for dong. It's fine. Give me a portion of the origin essence stones. I need them urgently." Su Yin hurriedly said, "I've already drawn up the new ideas, and I can still make a fortune, but—" The little old man stammered. He didn't dare to make a decision on this matter. "It's fine. Give me half of the origin essence stones. I'll give you half of the money for Tai Baotsai's shop." Su Yin spouted nonsense and said, "Also, I can't be at ease leaving such a large sum of money at home." This was the little old man's sore point. He couldn't even let go of the origin essence stones. He was really afraid that something unexpected would happen. He didn't have a spatial treasure to take it away. Su Yin patted his chest and assured him that everything would be fine. Only then did the little old man slowly relax. He gritted his teeth and said, "If something unexpected happens, You can't let me take the blame. If Grandpa Baokai blames me, I won't be able to handle it. Don't worry. It'll definitely be fine, Su Yan urged. The little old man brought Su Yan upstairs. When they arrived, Su Yan's heart trembled. Everything upstairs was filled with origin essence stones. If it weren't for the protection of the formation, this mountain of origin essence stones would definitely draw the envy of others. There's at least 600,000 origin essence stones. Su Yan looked like he had seen a ghost. How could this underwear shop make so much money? This isn't all the shop's profit. The little old man's head was like a rattle drum. After 3 months of rent and 100,000 origin essence stones, there's about 200,000 origin essence stones in total. As he spoke, the old man wiped off his drool. This was already a profitable business. He would earn 100,000 origin essence stones a month. The little old man sighed. Unfortunately, we don't need to use our initial funds. Otherwise, how could it be just 100,000? Even 1,000,000 wouldn't be a problem. The little old man was in charge of the shop, so he naturally knew the shop's situation. There wasn't enough supply, and Tai Baokai had been gone for a few months. There was no way for them to expand the shop. Actually, it's only been half a year. I estimate that in a few more months, when the business of the other big shops picks up, we won't be able to make such shocking profits. Su Yan muttered. However, Tai Baokai had already made a huge profit. 1,000,000 origin essence stones was a huge fortune. Even Go Peng would find it difficult to take out so many origin essence stones. Su Yan didn't dare take too much, afraid that Tai Baokai would faint from heartache. These origin essence stones should be enough. I wonder if there will be any dusty treasures at the auction? Su Yan thought to himself. Added to the origin essence stones he had on him, he had gathered a total of 200,000 origin essence stones. After going downstairs and seeing the quiet shop, Su Yan was puzzled. He saw a group of girls pointing and whispering, even taking the initiative to open a path. Who's here? Why are they so scared? Su Yan was suspicious. He stood at the door and looked into the distance. He heard the rumbling of wheels rolling over the ground. The entire street was slightly shaking. Su Yan was amazed. It was like the traffic lights on Earth. Who was so awesome? Why was there such a big commotion? The Alcade Princess is here. When a jadeite war chariot rushed out, Su Yan's horizons were broadened. This war chariot was carved from jadeite, and it even contained a divine luster. Some jadeite divine materials must have been added to it. Its value was astonishing. 2 auspicious beasts pulled the war chariot, rushing all the way to the Baokai shop. The flood is rushing to the Dragon King's temple. I wonder what Tai Baokai will do when it sees such an awesome character coming to its shop. Su Yan wanted to laugh, but in the next moment, his expression changed. It was too late to stop it. The jadeite war chariot was dazzling. It was unimpeded along the way, and pedestrians retreated when they saw it. However, the young slave squatted on the street, wolfing down the buns like a hungry wolf. "Bastard, get out of my way!" An angry voice came from the war chariot, and a silver whip suddenly stretched out. It was very fast, like a bolt of silver lightning. It fiercely lashed out, ruthlessly hitting the back of the young slave. The surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air. They saw the young slave's skin split open as he was sent flying. Some of the girls in the Baokai shop covered their mouths and cried out in alarm. Then they saw the delivery man rush out, his palm catching the flying slave. That was close. A young girl patted her proud twin peaks, causing waves to surge. If Su Yan had not caught the young slave, he would have fallen to his death. Su Yan's face was livid. This was too domineering. Roar! The 2 auspicious beasts growled and stopped, glaring at Su Yan. Who told you to save him? You dare to block my chariot. Don't you know what crime it is? A cold voice came from the jadeite war chariot, and a woman came out from it. She was wearing a luxurious cheongsam. Her whole body was shining with brilliant colors, and her aura of wealth was oppressive. She looked down at Su Yan from above, and then looked at the dirty young slave with disgust. She began to swing the silver whip in her hand, and her attitude was rude and unreasonable. "You beggar, you almost dirted my war chariot. And you, who told you to do it?" Some of the onlookers were angry, but they didn't dare to speak. Princess Yawang was famous for being rude and unreasonable. She once beat someone to death on the street because they blocked her chariot. Su Yin said angrily, "That person was almost killed by you just now, and you still blame me for saving him? Where did this country bumpkin come from? You don't even know who I am?" Princess Yawang said coldly, "Brilliant City is my territory. Don't talk about beating people. I can kill whoever I want." The street was silent. Some people were angry, but they didn't dare to speak. Brilliance Palace Hall was powerful. In Brilliance City, who dared to offend Brilliance Palace Hall? The local tyrant? Ridiculous. Suddenly, a figure with a blazing aura rose from the end of the street. He was wearing a golden robe, and his might could suppress the universe, especially the horn on his forehead, which faintly spread out an aura that could pierce the sky. The people around were shocked. When this person appeared, the chi and blood in his body shook them to the point that they almost fell to the ground. How strong was his physical body? Su Yin was shocked. Even he felt a little suffocated. This was definitely a dragon among men. It was very likely that his body had nurtured the blood of a true dragon. "If I let you kill me, can you kill me?" The golden-robed young man said in an unfriendly tone. "Your territory? Who do you think you are? How dare you say such words? It's more likely that Brilliance Palace Hall Master is here." "You." Princess Yawang was so angry that her face turned green. She pointed at the golden-robed young man and suddenly felt that he looked familiar. "Little Dragon King." Someone cried out in surprise. "Look, it's the Little Dragon King." The older generation cried out in surprise. Very few people in the younger generation of the Big Dipper Starfield didn't know about the Little Dragon King. He was the most proud son of the Golden Dragon King, the overlord of the demon race in the Big Dipper Starfield. He was an absolute heaven's pride, and his fame spread far and wide. There were only a few young people who could shake the Big Dipper Starfield. The Little Dragon King was one of them. It was rumored that he had a part of the blood of a true dragon in his body, which was an extremely tyrannical divine physique. I was wondering who it was. "So it's you." Brilliance Palace Hall Master clenched her jade-like hands and sneered. "So it's the Little Dragon King who lost to Big Brother Shueguan. You even lost 9 subordinates to Shueguan to pull his carriage." "Ha ha." The Little Dragon King's face turned gloomy. This was the biggest humiliation in his life. He lost miserably in the battle with Shueguan. He lay dormant for more than 10 years, preparing to challenge the Big Dipper supremacy. The older generation was speechless. Princess Yawang was too daring. She even dared to expose the Little Dragon King's disgraceful past. One must know that the Little Dragon King's father was the overlord of the demon race in the Big Dipper Starfield. Even Brilliance Palace Hall Master might not be a match for the Golden Dragon King. "You're tired of living." The whole street was trembling. The Little Dragon King's power rose from the ground. The moment the blood essence in his body circulated, it was as if a divine furnace was burning. The surrounding people were overwhelmed with shock. The blood essence in their body was about to dry up. "You dare to make a move." Princess Yawang's face changed. Under the Little Dragon King's power, it was very difficult for her to support herself, and she almost fell to the ground. "Transcendence Realm," Su Yin said in amazement in his heart. "The outstanding talents of the Big Dipper Starfield's younger generation are all in the Transcendence Realm. The gap between me and them is too big. Primal Realm, Life Spring Realm, Tao Gate Realm, Transcendent Realm, and Transcendence Realm. It's really amazing. There are already people in the Big Dipper Starfield's younger generation who have broken through to the Transcendence Realm." Chapter 174. Please be lenient. Just at this time, a group of law enforcers rushed over. When they saw the young Dragon King was the one who made the move, they all had a headache. "Quickly arrest the young Dragon King. He dares to touch me in Brilliant City." Princess Yawang screamed. "Young Dragon King, you dare to use force in Brilliant City. Arrest him and let him know the rules of Brilliant City." Hearing this group of law enforcers smiled bitterly. "Arrest the young Dragon King? They wouldn't even have the guts to do so. You think you're worthy of me making a move?" The young Dragon King was wearing a golden robe. He stared at Princess Yaoguang and said disdainfully, "Why don't you take a look at yourself? Why didn't you say those words just now? I think Yaoguang Palace Master is really muddle-headed. He can even give birth to a woman with such moral conduct like you." Damn it! Princess Yaoguang was so angry that her whole body was trembling. She roared, "You dare to humiliate my father, young Dragon King!" Before she could finish her words, the young Dragon King released his aura. It was as if a dormant dragon was awakening. It was filled with an earth-shattering power that pressured Princess Yaoguang. At this moment, Princess Yaoguang felt as if she was struck by lightning. Her whole body was trembling with fear, and her legs began to bend. This sentence caused a commotion in the surroundings. Everyone almost clapped their hands and cheered. Finally, someone stood out to teach Princess Yaoguang a lesson. "Young Dragon King, don't make a mistake." Princess Yaoguang almost fainted from anger. "You dare to offend me. Brother Shueguan won't forgive you. Don't forget, Brother Shueguan is now the supreme Big Dipper." The young Dragon King was furious. He couldn't bear to see someone mention the name Shueguan to him. His aura became even more powerful in an instant. It gave Princess Yaoguang goosebumps all over her body. She felt a trace of murderous intent, which made her terrified. Everyone says that the young Dragon King's way of doing things is domineering. Seeing it today, it's really extraordinary. A vigorous voice suddenly transmitted over. A figure with a towering aura walked over. It was as if he was a war god under the starry sky. His body was bathed in silver starlight. It was dazzling. Su Yan's pupils suddenly shrank as he looked at the young man who just appeared. His aura was extremely astonishing. It was on par with the young Dragon King. Most importantly, strands of the aura of divinity rippled within his body, and his body seemed to have developed an ancient god. At that moment, some people could vaguely see a vast galaxy rising behind young home Master Yaoguang, with stars of the universe floating within it, emitting an oppressive aura. Yaoguang! The surrounding spectators were in an uproar. This was the Alcade Palace's young palace master. He had a type of divine physique, and his fighting strength was exceptional. If it wasn't for the fact that Shueguan, this young supreme being, suppressed the crowd, the Alcade Palace's young palace master's fame would have been even greater. Divine Constitution. The outstanding young people of the Big Dipper constellation have cultivated to a high level, Su Yin muttered to himself. His constitution was about to evolve into a divine constitution. Yaoguang! Little Dragon King snorted coldly. He suddenly stretched out his palm. At this moment, the heaven and earth trembled. Someone noticed a strand of dragon-like aura piercing through the clouds. Rumble! It was a shocking scene. The young Dragon King's palm transformed into a huge claw. Its aura was so resplendent that it could collapse the sky. The moment it stretched out, its might was boundless, and it was suffused with the aura of a true dragon. The moment it rose up, it emitted a fluctuation that could split the sky. This law idol is so powerful. Could it be that the young Dragon King has cultivated the law idol of a true dragon? Everyone was discussing spiritedly. What was the law idol realm? This was the realm of heaven and earth, the law phenomenon. Once it was activated, the divine power would be as vast as the sea, and it could easily evolve the power of heaven and earth to attack the enemy. Su Yin was amazed. It looked like the secret technique of the true dragon's lineage, the true dragon claw. So powerful. So this is the prodigy of a younger generation. Su Yin muttered to himself. This golden claw was too tyrannical. It could tear the sky, split the sea, and shatter the void. Yaoguang, was indifferent as he bathed in the silver divine splendor. He was like a silver deity. After all, he was the Yaoguang, and he had the strongest battle strength among the younger generation. Boom! Yaoguang's palm also waved out. At first, it was very calm, but when it hit the dragon claw, his palm rapidly enlarged. It was shockingly vast and boundless. Moreover, the sun, moon, and stars were suspended in his palm, emitting a terrifying aura. Starry Sky Palm, a top-notch minor divine ability. Yao Guang has already cultivated it to great success. I seriously suspect that the great divine ability Yao Guang cultivated is the star-plucking hand. Let's wait and see. Since Shui Guan swept through the Big Dipper starfield, more than 10 years have passed. The various Ingjia have been dormant for more than 10 years. I reckon it's time for him to appear. There were many people watching the battle. Next, everyone was shocked to see the dragon claw overflowing with blazing light. It was unstoppable as it forcefully tore apart one star after another. It carried an aura that could split the heavens as it slashed towards Yao Guang's palm. This scene shocked everyone. The young Dragon King was indeed the young Dragon King. He had the upper hand as soon as he made his move. Look, the next moment, everyone was shocked to see Yao Guang's might increase by a notch. His divine physique had awakened and drawn the power of the stars from the outer realms to penetrate his magical body. At this moment, the heavens were brightly colored and transformed into a vast starry sky chart. It was as if a real starry sky had slashed down, causing everyone to suffocate. What a divine physique! Su Yin was moved. This was the phenomenon of a divine physique erupting. It was very shocking and much more powerful than a king physique. However, the young Dragon King's might made Su Yin sigh in admiration. He seemed to be bathed in the divine flames of the sun. His golden body was like a golden deity. A huge projection soared behind him and emitted a ferocious aura that caused the starry sky chart to change shape. Who was making such a ruckus here? Just as their auras were about to collide, the sound of the great Tao came from a small world in the depths of Brilliant City. It was so grand and shocking that it caused the entire city to tremble. The result was shocking. The phenomenon that filled the sky was completely dispersed in an instant. Yao Guang is only SOSO. The young Dragon King snorted. If it wasn't for the big shot of Brilliance Palace, he would definitely be able to suppress Yao Guang. The expedition was very short, but everyone could see that Yao Guang was at a disadvantage. It hasn't started yet. It's too early to make a conclusion. Yao Guang refused to admit defeat and said coldly, "Young Dragon King, he's a dignified genius of the Big Dipper starfield. Isn't it a bit too much to bully Princess Yao Guang?" Hearing this, the young Dragon King said coldly, "Why? Can Princess Yao Guang bully my subordinate as she pleases?" "You're lying." Princess Yao Guang was anxious. Su Yin was not a demon cultivator. Yao Guang obviously didn't believe it. He didn't even look at Su Yin and said coldly, "I didn't expect the young Dragon King to have such a useless subordinate." The young Dragon King glared angrily, and his whole body was filled with killing intent. I think the young Dragon King is afraid of losing. Big brother, don't forget that the young Dragon King has lost 9 subordinates. Who else dares to work for him? Princess Yao Guang sneered. He's only looking for useless subordinates. The young Dragon King's face was gloomy. He was just helping Su Yin, but Su Yin was not his subordinate after all. Useless? Su Yin strode out and said coldly, "Princess Yao Guang, how do you know that I'm useless?" When this sentence came out, the surroundings became quiet. Some people carefully thought about it and found that there was something wrong with this sentence. Princess Yao Guang also reacted. Her face turned ugly for a moment. The silver whip in her hand danced, and she said with a pale face, "Don't make a mistake. Apologize to me immediately and get lost to the young Dragon King. I can still spare your dog life." The young Dragon King's face was gloomy. His subordinates were angry and wanted to kill Princess Yao Guang to teach her a lesson. "You're just a woman, but your mouth is full of dirty work. What a disgrace to a gentleman." Su Yin shook his head. "Bastard." Princess Yao Guang rushed forward all of a sudden. The silver whip in her hand ruthlessly swung towards Su Yin. "Be careful." The young Dragon King revealed an ominous glint in his eyes. He wanted to let his subordinates make a move. His expression was somewhat surprised. Someone saw Su Yin grabbing the silver whip with his bare hands. This made them lose their color. Although the silver whip was not a very powerful divine weapon, who could catch it with their bare hands? Impossible. Everyone was in an uproar. They saw Su Yin raise his bare hands and catch the silver whip all of a sudden. His entire palm did not move at all. It was as if it was made out of divine iron. It was brimming with yang energy. This was a divine weapon. How could he catch a divine weapon with his bare hands? The young Dragon King could definitely catch it, but Su Yin was still very young. How could he catch a divine weapon? Bang! In the next moment, everyone was overwhelmed with shock. They saw Su Yan's arm was like a dragon. He waved the silver whip and swung it towards Princess Yao Guang. Princess Yao Guang, who was in a daze, suddenly felt De Li's attack. She let out a painful cry. The web between her thumb and forefinger was shattered. Her body was like a kite with a broken string as she was sent flying. This whip caused her to be in so much pain that she wished she was dead. Bastard! Great son Yao Guang flew into a rage. He launched a palm attack to suppress Su Yin. Ha ha ha! The young Dragon King was silent for a while. Then he faced the sky and laughed loudly. His blood and chi rumbled and surged vigorously. He was like a golden deity, filled with the aura of a huge dragon. He blocked great son Yao Guang's attack. Good. The young Dragon King laughed loudly and said, "Reward me with 10,000 origin essence stones." The whole street was absolutely silent. Everyone was stunned by the young Dragon King's heroic voice. They also didn't expect Su Yin to be so powerful that he could send Princess Yao Guang flying in an instant. Big brother. Princess Yao Guang felt so wronged that she almost cried. She had lost too much face. Shut up. Great son Yao Guang's face was ashen. He also lost face. What? Great son Yao Guang, you still want to fight? Or let Princess Yao Guang come out and fight with my subordinates? I have prepared 100,000 origin essence stones here as a reward for my subordinates. The young Dragon King laughed loudly. He was in high spirits. Behind the young Dragon King, a group of creatures with powerful aura immediately stood out and looked around disdainfully. Young Dragon King, what's the big deal about bullying a woman? Wait until the star tomb opens. Let me have a taste of your skills. Great son Yao Guang's ice-cold eyes fell on Su Yin. He would remember this person. Seeing great son Yao Guang being forced to leave, the surrounding people were speechless. The young Dragon King was indeed the young Dragon King. He was not afraid of anything. Although he was defeated by Shueguan, he still managed to climb up. Thank you, young Dragon King, for your help. Su Yin quickly went up to pay his respects. Brother, you're welcome. The young Dragon King looked at Su Yin seriously and said, Are you willing to work under me? I guarantee that you will be conferred the title of king on planet Yao Guang in 10 years. Hearing this, Su Yin hesitated for a moment and said, I'm used to being free. I appreciate the young Dragon King's kindness. The young Dragon King's expression was a little awkward. He rarely invited people. He didn't expect Su Yin to reject him. I say, young Dragon King is the peerless heaven's pride of the Big Dipper starfield. In the future, you will definitely be the overlord of our Yao Dao. An evil spirit walked out from behind the young Dragon King and said with an unkind expression, It's your great fortune to be able to follow the young Dragon King. You still don't appreciate it. Shut up. The young Dragon King frowned and said, Everyone has their own aspirations. I won't force you. The evil spirit glared at Su Yin and felt indignant in his heart. Thank you, young Dragon King, for your understanding. Su Yin said, Brother, you don't need to be so polite. By the way, you guys should quickly go to the shop and pick some things. We still have to go to the auction later. The young Dragon King also saw the Baokai shop, a group of female evil spirits behind the young Dragon King. Each of them was as beautiful as a flower, swaying gracefully. When they were about to enter the Baokai shop, the little old man quickly carried out a pile of wrapped gift boxes and very enthusiastically gave them to these female evil spirits. Why? The girls in the Baokai shop glared at him and almost spat fire. They wished they could beat the little old man up. Isn't it said that it's hard to find a single piece of clothing in the Baokai shop? The young Dragon King was also stunned. Even the Baokai shop had dealings with the Cosmos Business Alliance. Who would dare to cause trouble in the Baokai shop? The little old man laughed mischievously. He walked up and respectfully said, "Young Dragon King, Su Yin is the second owner of our Baokai shop. He specially asked me to prepare some gifts for the ladies." So that's how it is. The young Dragon King was surprised. He said through sound transmission, "Brother, you know the Tai Baokai?" Su Yan's heart was shaken. He asked through sound transmission, "Tai Baokai is my friend. Young Dragon King also knows the Tai Baokai." It's May Day. Today the sky is going to explode. I've never fought for the monthly votes list. I've been writing for 5 years. This time, I'm going to fight for it. Brothers, let's fight for the monthly votes. Chapter 175. Little Dragon King hesitated for a moment and transmitted his voice. "My father said that Tai Baokai is the descendant of the demon race's supreme and is an honored guest of my clan." Su Yin looked as if he had seen a ghost. Tai Baokai is the descendant of the demon race's supreme? He transmitted his voice and asked, "Which demon race's supreme descendant is he? Where is he now?" Little Dragon King shook his head. He didn't know the details, but Tai Baokai was in charge of the banners of demons. Banners of demons can prove Tai Baocai's identity? Su Yin muttered in his heart. He transmitted his voice again and asked, "I know about the banners of demons. Is Tai Baokai the descendant of the demon race's supreme by virtue of the banners of demons?" "I'm not too sure. My father said that the banners of demons are also related to the demon realm." Su Yan's pupils suddenly shrank. The demon realm was the most powerful ancient star and was very far away from the Big Dipper star field. Little Dragon King was also a demon race cultivator, but he had never been to the demon realm. However, the fact that the banners of demons related to the demon realm appeared in Tai Baocai's possession was extraordinary. Even his father thought that Tai Baokai was the descendant of the demon realm supreme. He transmitted his voice and said, "The origin of the banners of demons is very special. In any case, it is said that the demon race's supreme has emerged from every generation of the demon race's supreme. Over time, the banners of demons became the symbol of the demon realm's identity. However, the banners of demons have not appeared for many years. I also don't know whether the banners of demons in Tai Baocai's possession are authentic or not." Su Yin was scared. This matter was a little shocking. According to Little Dragon King, the banners of demons had been in the possession of the demon race's supreme for generations in the distant past. However, it suddenly appeared in the hands of Tai Baokai. Little Dragon King, who are the supremes of the demon clan? Su Yin asked. In a vast universe, those who could be called supremes were all invincible existences. But Shuiguan, this young supreme being, was not a supreme being powerhouse. It's been too long. I don't know much about it either. However, according to my father, although the demon race can produce paragons every generation, the paragons only appear for a short period of time before disappearing without a trace. This wasn't a secret. After all, this was related to the demonic race's supreme being. Some of the major powers had records of this. Some people said that the sovereign of the demon race was most likely the same person. This speculation was very frightening, and no one had ever confirmed it. However, the banners of demons had a lofty status in the demon realm. They were already known as the symbol of the demon race's supreme being. Just think about it, and one would know how amazing the banners of demons were. Therefore, the appearance of Tai Baokai made the Golden Dragon King pay great attention to it. The Little Dragon King also befriended it. Su Yin asked Tai Baokai if there was anyone else with him. Little Dragon King shook his head. It was alone. It was very mysterious. Su Yin couldn't figure out its origin. Moreover, it didn't stay in the Golden Dragon King's house for long and left. What's the origin of Tai Baokai? Su Yin had a headache. At this time, Little Dragon King said, "Brother, I have to go to the auction. I have some matters to attend to, so I'll leave first. I'll come and talk to you in detail another day." "Okay. Take care, Little Dragon King." Su Yin respectfully sent him off. He was relieved to hear that Tai Baokai was safe. However, Yuan still hadn't appeared, which made Su Yin feel uneasy. Little Dragon King, this person doesn't know how to appreciate favors. Why did you talk to him for so long? The evil spirit who was glaring at Su Yin just now frowned. This evil spirit was wearing a dark green dress. She had fair skin and a beautiful face. Her expression was somewhat unfriendly as she said, "If I said that Little Dragon King wanted some capable people, I don't know how many people would break their heads to join. Although this Su Yin has some strength, it's not necessarily high. He probably hasn't stepped into the divine ability secret realm." Bai Yun, Little Dragon King frowned and said, "This brother has some relationship with Tai Baokai." Tai Baokai. Bai Yun was so angry that her face turned black. Some time ago, an awesome Tai Baokai came to the Golden Dragon King cave. The entire Golden Dragon King cave was in a mess. Bai Yun also suffered a lot. Tai Baokai even threatened that he had a brother with heaven-bestowed divinity and wanted Bai Yun to go back with him to be his servant girl. This made Bai Yun feel resentful. This is the brother with heaven-bestowed divinity? Bai Yun was so angry that she stomped her feet. He wasn't even in the divine ability secret realm. Little Dragon King had a lot on his mind. Tai Baocai's origin was very mysterious. Even the Golden Dragon King paid attention to him. After all, he was the banners of demons. Once this news spread out, it would cause a sensation in the demon realm. There had always been a legend in the demon realm. When the banners of demons appeared, all the demon realm cultivators in the world would listen to their orders. This seemed to be a saying passed down by the demon realm's supreme masters for generations. However, that period of time was too long ago. More than 100,000 years had passed. After a long period of time, the influence of the 10,000 demon flag had gradually decreased. However, now that the 10,000 demon flag had appeared again, Little Dragon King did not know whether it was good or bad. "Are you all right?" Su Yin walked over to the young slave and inspected the wound on his back. His face suddenly changed. The wound on the young slave's back had healed. How is this possible? Su Yin was flabbergasted. The whip just now left a deep wound, but now the wound had healed. Su Yin even found other wounds on the young slave's body. Although there were bloodstains, the wounds had already healed. Su Yin's heart was shaken. What the hell is going on? He quickly left with the young slave. Along the way, he asked about the injuries on his body. The young slave had a blank expression. Autism? Su Yin found that there was no way to communicate with him. He seemed to be silent in his own world. The auction is about to start. Su Yin brought him to his cultivation room and said solemnly, "I said, wait for me here. I have something to do and have to leave." The young slave nodded as if he understood. Only then did Su Yin leave. The Cosmos Business Alliance's auction this time affected the entire Big Dipper starfield. In Alcade City, there were frequent big shots with powerful auras arriving. As for the Cosmos Business Alliance, it was very lively. Even a young Dragon King had come. Many young geniuses had also come. Boom! At this moment, a massive starry sky array in brilliant city emitted a dazzling golden light, illuminating the entire city with a resplendent radiance. All the cultivators in the city were shocked. They looked into the distance and saw a terrifying existence crossing over from the giant starfield array. His aura was too majestic. The essence blood in his body was like a roaring ocean. Mizar Palace Master. The people present turned pale. This was the Palace Master of the Mizar Palace. It was rumored that among the 7 Palace Masters, the Mizar Palace Master's combat strength was the most tyrannical. It could be seen from the blood and chi in his body that it was comparable to the sun star. The temperature of his blood and chi could burn the heavens. This was a middle-aged man with a majestic appearance. He was a mighty lord of the Big Dipper starfield. His combat strength was shocking. The 7 Palace Masters of the Big Dipper were all in their golden age. The 7 Palace Masters also had a written rule that if their lifespan exceeded 2,000 years, they would have to abdicate and pass on their position to the next generation. Therefore, the 7 Palace Masters of the Big Dipper were all in their golden age, especially the Mizar Palace Master. His blood and chi were at the peak of his power, drowning the heavens. It was terrifying to the extreme. Su Yin was speechless. The blood and chi in his body could not be compared to the Mizar Palace Masters. This is an expert that can move unhindered in the universe. Su Yan's eyes were filled with yearning. He muttered to himself, "If I were this strong, I would definitely be able to return to Earth." Work hard. Suyin clenched his fists. His eyes also looked at the young man who came at the Mizar Palace Master. He was like a burning sun. This was the young Palace Master of the Mizar Palace Master. Junior greets the Mizar Palace Master. Yao Guang walked up to greet him. After seeing the Mizar Palace Master nod his head, he walked up to Mizar Juzi. The two heavens prides of the Big Dipper starfield stood side by side, attracting attention. Yao Guang Juzi was like a resplendent star, while Mizar Juzi was like the sun. The blood and essence in his body were surging. It is said that Mizar Juzi has the rare, extreme, yang, celestial physique. It should be the extreme, yang, celestial physique. This physique is innately strong. I wonder if the other giants will come to participate in this auction? Brilliant City was not peaceful. Many important figures had arrived. There were many ancient aristocratic families in the Big Dipper starfield. Such an auction would definitely attract the experts of various factions. Will Bamboo Moon come? Suyin was not in a hurry to enter. Instead, he stood there and watched. More and more important figures arrived, especially those of the younger generation. Those who could afford to use the astral formation had to have a great background. Incredible. Could it be that all 7 giants will be gathered today? I'm not sure. Among the 7 major palaces, only Yuheng Palace Master rarely shows himself. After all, Yuheng Palace Master specializes in alchemy. The other 6 major palaces all have top experts in the younger generation. The crowd was in an uproar. More and more giants had arrived. Now, 4 giants had gathered in Brilliant City. Each of them was a dragon among men. Their auras were awe-inspiring. At this moment, the astral formation rumbled again. The people who arrived made everyone's face pale. First was a tall and sturdy man. His aura could swallow mountains and rivers. He was domineering and high-spirited. His eyes were full of arrogance. Little Dragon King's expression was cold. He saw a familiar face. Mizar Juzi and the other 3 quickly went up to greet him. Although this tall and sturdy man's strength was much weaker than Yao Guang Palace Master, he had a great background. Greetings to the Shui family's patriarch. The crowd was shocked. Shui family's patriarch. Could he be the father of the ancient aristocratic family, Shuiguan? The 4 giants did not dare to be arrogant. Who was Shuiguan? He was the Big Dipper sovereign. Ha, my 4 honorable nephews, please dispense with the formalities. The Shui family's patriarch laughed and said, "It has been a long time since I last saw you guys. You must visit our Shui family someday. My son, Guanjuan, has been very idle these days. He has been chanting scriptures all day long. My ears are tired of listening to him." My son, Guanjuan? Su Yin was speechless. The surrounding people were not surprised. The Shui family's patriarch was indeed high-spirited to have such a son. He often talked about his son, Guanjuan. Little Dragon King had a tired expression. His son was called the Big Dipper Supreme by the outside world. He had never been defeated. All the Shui family's patriarchs called Shui Guan the champion. But when he heard the Shui family's patriarch say that he had been chanting scriptures all day, Little Dragon King's expression became uncertain. Could it be that this Shui Guan was going to step into the ranks of the universe's experts and compete with the Mizar Palace Master's generation? Mizar Palace Master and the other mighty lords were also astonished. This Shui Guan was becoming more and more incredible. Shuilong is also here. He is worthy of being Shui Guan's younger brother. Amazing, 2 heroes in one family. When Shuilong grows up in the future, he will also be amazing. Rumor has it that when Shuilong was young, he used dragon blood to nourish his treasured body. I guess he came to the auction this time for the true dragon blood. A 17 or 18-year-old young man had an abundant amount of blood essence in his body. His body was rippling with the sound of a dragon's roar. The blood essence in his body was too vigorous. Who knew how many heavenly treasures he had eaten? He was only 17 or 18 years old, yet his meridians were already like dragons. Shuilong's face was full of arrogance. His elder brother was the Big Dipper Supreme, and he was called the Little Sovereign. In the future, the Big Dipper Starfield would definitely be the world of these 2 brothers. Second update. Today is May Day. I wish everyone a happy holiday. Chapter 176. Brilliant City was very lively. The young geniuses appeared one after another, especially Shui Long's vigorous blood essence. He was like a dragon soaring in the sky, attracting everyone's attention. If we can throw him into the alchemy furnace, we can definitely refine a dragon pill. Little Dragon King was a little jealous. It was rumored that Shui Guan had obtained the inheritance of an almighty. He definitely had a huge amount of resources in his hands. However, there was no proof that Shui Guan had obtained the inheritance of an almighty. It was a mystery. Little Dragon King knew that although the Shui family was powerful, their foundation was similar to the Golden Dragon King's bloodline. However, this Shui Guan had eaten so many natural treasures at such a young age. This made Little Dragon King suspect that Shui Guan had obtained the inheritance of an almighty. The starry sky array once again emitted the vast power of the starry sky. Indistinct ancient stars flashed. When the 7 great stars of the universe appeared, the aura they emitted overshadowed the awe-inspiring aura of all the geniuses present. Big Dipper Palace. Su Yan's eyes widened. This was the Big Dipper fist, a vision of 7 stars converging. However, he was a little disappointed when he saw the people who came. Bamboo Moon did not come. A group of young people came. They wore starry robes and had powerful auras, especially the young man in the lead. He was majestic without being angry. His whole body was surrounded by brilliance. He stood there like the king of the starry sky. The aura he emitted shocked Mizar Juzi and the others. At first, they looked unfriendly. After all, the 7-star palaces were not under the Big Dipper Palace. However, when they saw the people who came, they laughed. It's senior brother Han Tong. He's Han Tong. Little Dragon King took a few more glances. Han Tong had become famous earlier than him. Even before Shui Guan, this person was already a genius in the Big Dipper Starfield. He was also the personal disciple of the Big Dipper Palace's supreme elder. It was said that the Big Dipper Palace's doyen had groomed Han Tong as the future Star Lord. Unfortunately, Bamboo Moon had appeared out of nowhere and could even suppress the 7 palace masters. Although Han Tong was talented and had the starry sky combat body, it was a pity that he had not stepped into the ranks of the universe's powerhouses. Therefore, he had no chance of becoming the Star Lord. Some of the young disciples of the Big Dipper Palace frowned when they saw the 4 giants. 4 junior brothers are also here. Han Tong was wearing a long golden robe. His entire body seemed to have been tempered by the stars, as he exuded an aura that was as deep as the abyss. Even though Yao Guang and the other 3 had top-notch combat strength, there was still a certain gap between them and Han Tong, this senior brother of the older generation. Shualong greets big brother Han Tong. Shualong also greeted them warmly. His big brother was pursuing Fairy Bamboo Moon, so he didn't dare to slight the people from the Big Dipper Palace. He was afraid that he would ruin his big brother's plans. Shualong. A smile appeared on Han Tong's face. He took out a jade gourd and handed it over. You're becoming more and more extraordinary. You have a bit of the Northern Dipper Sovereign style. This is for you. Hearing the 3 words, Northern Dipper Sovereign, Little Dragon King had a disgusted look on his face. The young disciples of the Big Dipper Star Palace all sighed. Back in the day, the Big Dipper Supremes had mostly emerged from the Big Dipper Star Palace. After all, they were the overlords of the Big Dipper Star region. However, now that Shui Guan had appeared and was being called the Big Dipper Paragon, all of the disciples of the Big Dipper Star Palace felt indignant. Many thanks, Big Brother Han Tong. When the jade gourd was opened, it was as if a piece of star sand was poured out. It rippled with a monstrous golden radiance. Countless small stars scattered out, illuminating the sky. The surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air. An entire gourd of top-grade star rice, at least 1,000 grains, was taken out by Han Tong and given to Shui Long. Senior brother, you. A silent black-clothed girl frowned. She had a graceful appearance, a lithe figure, and a petite figure. Her temperament gave off the feeling of a pretty girl from a humble family. However, anyone could feel the faintly discernible aura of the vast sea of stars rippling within this black-clothed girl's body. Over 1,000 grains of star rice, which was 3 years' worth of a legacy disciple's share, was given away by him just like that. Jingfu, you're here, too. The moment he saw the black-clothed girl, Guanlong's eyes lit up. He scanned her petite figure with a burning passion in his eyes. He secretly thought that since his big brother married Bamboo Moon, he would get Bamboo Moon to abolish Xing Jingfu's status as a personal disciple. When the time came, he would go to the Big Dipper Star Palace to propose marriage and get Xing Jingfu to marry him. Han Tong looked at Xing Jingfu with a dignified aura. Xing Jingfu's expression wasn't good. Star rice was of the highest grade. Even 99% of the young disciples of the Big Dipper Star Palace didn't have a chance to get it. However, Han Tong had given away over 1,000 grains in one go. Seeing Xing Jingfu's hesitant look, Mizar Juzi and the other three looked at each other and laughed. I say, big senior brother, you're a little biased. I haven't eaten the highest grade star rice for many years. For junior brothers, do you think I don't know what kind of background you have? Han Tong laughed and took out a few more jade gourds. He gave them to the young disciples behind them. These jade gourds were filled with excellent quality star rice. Hurry up and thank our big senior brother of the Big Dipper lineage. Mizar Juzi and the others laughed. They knew that the Supreme Elder was biased towards them. If it wasn't for the appearance of Bamboo Moon, the Star Lord of the Big Dipper Star Palace would be Han Tong. Didn't they say that the 7 major star palaces and the Big Dipper Star Palace don't get along? Suyin was a little puzzled. He knew that the 8 major palaces of the Big Dipper Star region were one faction. On the surface, the one with the highest authority was the Star Lord of the Big Dipper, Bamboo Moon. However, this Han Tong was too generous. He gave out over 1,000 grains of star rice, just like that. Damn, an overlord is an overlord. These 4 giants are hard enough to deal with. Little Dragon King smacked his lips. The sovereign physique of the Big Dipper Star region has disappeared for many years. Shuiguan wants to marry Fairy Bamboo Moon? What wishful thinking. Some people were also talking about the sovereign physique. The Big Dipper Star region had a sovereign physique, but he had disappeared for many years. If the sovereign physique returned, it would be lively. When that time came, the younger generation of the Big Dipper Star region would fight for supremacy. Princess Yao Guang was also happily holding a jade gourd. There were 3,000 grains of star rice in it. As she walked toward the Cosmos Business Alliance, she noticed Su Yin. It's you. Princess Yao Guang's face turned cold. She looked at Su Yin unkindly. When she noticed that he was standing at the entrance of the Cosmos Business Alliance, she sneered. Little beggar, the Cosmos Business Alliance is not a place you can enter. If you have nothing to do, go away. Don't block the way here. Block the way? Su Yin sneered. If you have the ability, drive your chariot and charge in from here. Su Yin pointed at the Cosmos Business Alliance. His words angered Princess Yao Guang. She didn't dare to behave atrociously here. Men, come here. Princess Yao Guang's mind moved. She suddenly shouted, where are the people of the Cosmos Business Alliance? Look at these irrelevant people. What are they doing here? The road is blocked, and no one is coming out to help. Princess Yao Guang's voice wasn't soft. Bai Yun, who was nearby, was shocked. When she saw that it was Su Yin, she sneered. Little Dragon King, look at this person. He still wants to go to the Cosmos Business Alliance. Little Dragon King also looked over. He noticed that some guards of the Cosmos Business Alliance had come. He didn't say anything. These guards were basically cultivators of Yao Guang City. They were very polite to Princess Yao Guang. Look at this person. Go and chase him away. He's an eyesore here. Princess Yao Guang ordered arrogantly. She looked at Su Yin and said proudly, go quickly. If you chase him away, you'll be rewarded heavily. These guards were maintaining order here. They came in front of Su Yin and sized him up. Little brother, the auction is about to start. If you don't have an invitation, please leave. That's right. What are you doing here without an invitation? Princess Yao Guang sneered. That old thing Go Peng is here. When Su Yin saw an old thing coming here, he quickly took out an invitation. This scene stunned Princess Yao Guang. She then sneered. It must be fake. You guys check it carefully. If it's fake, I'll immediately inform the law enforcement team to take him away and lock him up. Kid, Let's see if Little Dragon King will still help you. Princess Yao Guang walked forward and sneered. If you fall into my hands, I'll make you kneel down and beg me. Idiot! Su Yin didn't even look at her. You! Princess Yao Guang was angry. She pointed at Su Yin and said angrily, You still dare? Princess Yao Guang, watch your words. At this moment, this group of guards was shocked. The leader stared at Princess Yao Guang and shouted, We are the distinguished guests of the Cosmos Business Alliance. How can we allow you to talk nonsense? Shut up immediately. Otherwise, you will be banned from entering the Cosmos Business Alliance. Princess Yao Guang was dumbfounded as if she was struck by lightning. She looked like she was petrified. Her face was pale, and the people nearby couldn't hold back their laughter. Little Dragon King was watching the joke. He was surprised when he saw these guards respectfully welcoming Su Yin in. Even Yao Guang and the others didn't have such treatment. These prodigies were indeed terrifying, but they weren't qualified to be invited by Zi Xiaoning. Who was Zi Xiaoning? The core members of the Cosmos Business Alliance were transferred here by the higher-ups. If she stomped her feet, the entire business alliance in the Big Dipper Star region would tremble. Yao Guang Hall didn't have the resources to challenge Zi Xiaoning, let alone an arrogant and despotic princess. Why does this person look familiar? Gopeng noticed the atmosphere and noticed Su Yin being respectfully invited in by the guards. He frowned. He felt that Su Yan's back was familiar. What happened? Gopeng came over and asked with a sullen face. A disciple of Yao Guang Hall explained what happened. This scene made Gopeng's face turn ashen. He shouted angrily, You're getting bolder and bolder. You even dare to offend the distinguished guests of the Cosmos Business Alliance. Go back and reflect. Princess Yao Guang's hands and feet were cold. Although she was arrogant and despotic, she knew how powerful the Cosmos Business Alliance was. Even Yao Guang Hall Master didn't dare to offend the Cosmos Business Alliance. Hurry up and leave. Gopeng was very angry. He was in a bad mood. He couldn't find Su Yin, and Princess Yao Guang was causing trouble everywhere. How could Gopeng be in a good mood? Moreover, his treasure was being auctioned. Just thinking about this made Gopeng so angry that he almost fainted. Su Yin, Little Dragon King muttered to himself. This is getting more and more interesting. Tai Baokai and Su Yin seemed to have appeared out of thin air. Chapter 177. The Cosmos Business Alliance's auction hall was large enough to accommodate tens of thousands of cultivators. The Cosmos Business Alliance wouldn't invite too many people to an auction of this scale. After all, the treasures put up for auction weren't something ordinary people could afford. Even the weakest treasure was very expensive. Only transcendent realm experts could barely afford it. Young master, please come in. Su Yin didn't expect that the invitation from Zi Xiaoning would attract the attention of the Cosmos Business Alliance. They even brought him to a box on the top floor. Su Yin's expression was a bit strange. Only big shots like Yao Guang Hall Master were qualified to enter the box on the top floor. The entire box was grand and magnificent. The table was filled with exquisite snacks, precious spirit fruits, and high-quality tea leaves. Su Yin sat in a box, where he could overlook the entire auction hall. People like Yao Guang Hall Master were in boxes on the second floor. There were rows of seats at the bottom. Most people weren't qualified to enter the boxes. Zi Xiaoning's ability is really great. Su Yin couldn't help but be shocked. Could it be that this Zi Xiaoning was only here because of the idea he provided? But Baokai shops are selling so well in Yaoguang City. They must be very popular in other star fields. Once Zi Xiaoning starts selling goods on a large scale, she'll definitely make a huge profit. Su Yin thought to himself. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that Zi Xiaoning wasn't simple. If she could sell goods in the vast universe, that would be terrifying. He couldn't help but feel the importance of the Cosmos Business Alliance. After all, cultivation wealth was indispensable. Make money? I don't know how to do business. Su Yin smiled bitterly. He then noticed that the auction had already begun. His expression was solemn as he thought to himself, It's my first time attending such a grand auction. I'll definitely broaden my horizons. An old man wearing black clothes entered the auction hall. The people in the hall started talking. This was a famous person. He was the vice president of the Cosmos Business Alliance in the Big Dipper Star region. Fellow Taoists, there are a lot of treasures in this auction. He Xian smiled and said, according to the old rules, the first round of the auction is the Heavenly Essence Stone. The surroundings were in an uproar. The older generation were all envious. Heavenly Essence Stones were too rare and precious. This item rarely appeared in auctions. Heavenly Essence Stone. Suyin frowned slightly. In the next moment, his expression changed. The stones that were brought out by the auction house looked familiar. He recalled the time when he and the Yuan had been training in the wilderness and had stolen a large stone. The energy contained within the boulder was the main ingredient for refining the 6th grade foundation establishment medicinal liquid. This is Heaven's Essence Stone. Su Yan's eyes went red with envy. Even though the stone body looked ordinary and mediocre, under He Xian's control, the first stone erupted with dazzling divine light, and the surging aura of divinity contained within it surged. It also contained extremely exuberant life essence. Good fellow. Su Yan's heart trembled. The energy contained within the Heaven's Essence Stone was extremely beneficial to cultivation. If he could obtain one piece, he felt that he could step into the 5th heaven of the Saint Gate realm. A total of 30 Heaven's Essence Stones. The younger generation was envious. The Heaven's Essence Stone was too rare. It was a sacred item for cultivation. Every piece of Heaven's Essence Stone contained divine energy that could be used to break through the realm. Even the Overlord forces of the Big Dipper Star region had very little control over the Heaven's Essence Stone. Under normal circumstances, they wouldn't give it to their disciples for cultivation. The Heaven's Essence Stone can be traded with spiritual herbs. It can also be auctioned with Origin Essence Stones. The crowd was in an uproar. Many people were calling out bids. Every auction was for one piece of Heaven's Essence Stone, but the value of just one piece was shocking. A piece of 5 Gene Heaven's Essence Stone actually cost hundreds of thousands of Origin Essence Stones? Su Yan's scalp went numb. This was too expensive. With the Origin Essence Stones he could only buy a little more than one piece. Even so, many people were calling out bids. Most of them were disciples of the Big Dipper Star Hall. There were even disciples of ancient families. Even the little Dragon King chose to bid for the Heaven's Essence Stone. In the blink of an eye, there were only a few Heaven's Essence Stones left. 8,000-year-old spiritual herb. Su Yan hesitated. He wanted to slap himself. Consuming spiritual herbs could speed up one's cultivation, but the effect would be greatly reduced. For example, consuming elixir pills. 8,000-year-old spiritual herbs were already rare enough. Everyone was shocked. Some people saw the box at the top and didn't care. 8,000-year-old spiritual herbs weren't valuable to these big shots. However, they were surprised that such a big shot would need to bid for a piece of Heaven's Essence Stone. On the other hand, Go Peng felt that this voice was familiar, as though he had heard it somewhere before. He didn't pay much attention to it. He guessed that it was a big shot from the Big Dipper Star region. Su Yan successfully bid for the 5 Gene Heaven's Essence Stone, and someone quickly delivered it to him. Su Yan held the Heaven's Essence Stone in his hand and sensed it for a while. He realized that the divine energy contained within was very vigorous. After absorbing a little, all the pores on his body opened up and emitted auspicious clouds. Good heavens! This piece of Heaven's Essence Stone is enough for me to cultivate to the 5th heaven of the Saint Gate realm. Su Yan laughed in his heart and accepted the Heaven's Essence Stone with satisfaction. The 30 pieces of Heaven's Essence Stone had been sold out. Those who didn't bid for it were sighing. A transcendence divine weapon with a starting price of 50,000 Origin Essence Stones. A battleship that can traverse the void. Su Yan took a few more glances and heard the discussion in the auction venue. He knew that the universe battleship was the most valuable because it could traverse the universe. However, this kind of battleship was very valuable and had a high price of a few million Origin Essence Stones. Su Yan was dazzled. There were many treasures that appeared in the auction. There were countless and all kinds of treasures. However, he didn't see any Tao divine weapons being auctioned. Instead, Some domain-type transcendence divine weapons were auctioned for sky-high prices. Origin Essence Divine Treasure. Su Yin was tempted. Unfortunately, he didn't have much money on him. 200,000 Origin Essence stones wouldn't be able to cause much of a stir in an auction like this. Minor Mystique Secret Technique. After the auction, it's confirmed that it's a mid-tier Minor Mystique. The items that were auctioned this time caused quite a commotion. Various factions were competing for the items. Only Palace Master Yao Guang and the other big shots didn't make a move. A price that left Su Yin speechless was more than 9 million Origin Essence stones. How valuable was the Big Dipper Fist? The auction had been going on for half a day. Su Yin calculated that there were at least 1,000 treasures being auctioned. The Dragon Totem really hadn't found any dusty treasures. In the cultivation world of a pinnacle civilization like this, it was difficult for treasures to escape the eyes of the strong. Batch after batch of precious ores were also auctioned. These items were relatively unpopular. Most of them were auctioned by blacksmiths and array masters. Su Yan's eyes scanned the ores. He also wanted to buy a batch and carve some array discs to save his life. However, these ores were relatively expensive. Moreover, they were all being auctioned in batches. This gave Su Yan a headache. When the next batch of ores was auctioned, Su Yan's body shook. The Dragon Totem had sensed it. It's inside the ores. Su Yan's heart thumped wildly. He clenched his fists tightly. His eyes scanned the ores. There were over 100 ores. They were all very valuable. Generally speaking, these ores would be auctioned for several million Origin Essence stones. Although the temperature released by the Dragon Totem couldn't compare to true dragon blood, it wasn't much worse. He was silent for a moment. Then, he made a prompt decision and took out a piece of divine material. This was something that he had plundered from Zu Yan's treasury. Although it was small, its value didn't need to be mentioned. It was difficult to measure its value with Origin Essence stones. Esteemed guest wants to pawn the purple copper divine material. The maid at the door shivered. This piece of purple copper divine material wasn't large, but if it was exchanged for treasures, it could be exchanged for quite a few. The maid went to find the manager. The manager estimated the price. 5 million Origin Essence stones. Su Yan instantly made a move. He bought this batch of ores for less than 2 million. 5 million Origin Essence stones. It's very important for cultivators who have just awakened. But for big shots, Origin Essence stones aren't very useful. Su Yan shook his head. Heaven Essence stones were the top cultivation resource. Origin Essence stones were formed from the essence of heaven and earth. The speed at which experts absorbed the essence of heaven and earth was too fast. They didn't need Origin Essence stones. Wait for the ores to be delivered. Let's see what treasures are hidden in them. Su Yan patiently observed the auction. Divine materials had appeared in the auction and caused a commotion. Even big shots needed them. Even the Mizar Palace Master made a move once. He spent 50 kilograms of Origin Essence stones to obtain a large piece of divine material. 50 kilograms is too expensive. This divine material is only ordinary. If it's a top-grade divine material, its value will be shocking. Su Yan was speechless. If he used 50 kilograms of Origin Essence stones, he could probably cultivate to the 8th heaven of the Saint Gate realm. The next auction, Divine Ability Handbook. He Xian's words caused the auction to be even more shaken. Someone said enthusiastically, "There's actually a Divine Ability Handbook for auction. Amazing. I wonder which senior left it behind. What's a Divine Ability Handbook?" Some people were puzzled. They saw He Xian take out a piece of bee skin. There was a mountain carved on the bee's skin. The aura it emitted was suffocating. It felt like they were about to be crushed. It was like a real divine ability had been revealed. It attracted everyone's attention. "You don't even know about the Divine Ability Handbook?" The older generation said enthusiastically, "It's very difficult to cultivate divine abilities in the divine ability realm. It's extremely difficult to open the divine ability door if one's comprehension isn't high. If there's a Divine Ability Handbook, it's different. The Divine Ability door can directly absorb the energy of the Divine Ability Handbook, and the Divine Ability door can manifest the Divine Ability Handbook." What? Even Su Yin was shocked. Wasn't this a cheating tool? Even some of the geniuses were envious. It was very difficult to cultivate divine abilities, especially inscribing divine abilities in the divine ability door. One had to comprehend all the mysteries of the divine ability door before they could inscribe the divine ability door. This was the divine ability realm. The 9 great Tao doors combined to form a divine ability secret door. The divine ability secret door could inscribe the mysteries of the divine ability secret door. When the time came, as long as the power of the divine ability door erupted, the divine ability secret door could be unleashed, and the power of the divine ability secret door would increase exponentially. It said that the younger generation's geniuses who opened the 9 great Tao doors would be able to nurture a divine ability secret door. Oh my God! Supreme Shuiguan opened the 9 Daesong doors. How strong would his divine ability secret door be? There was a lot of discussion in the auction. However, the price of the divine ability handbook left them in despair. In the divine ability realm, one could inscribe 9 divine abilities, but a single divine ability handbook was already an astronomical price. 9 divine abilities. Su Yin said with reddened eyes, if I can get 9 great divine abilities and inscribe them in the divine ability secret door, when the time comes to activate the divine ability secret door, all 9 great divine abilities will awaken at the same time. How terrifying would that be? Some readers have commented that the Big Dipper 8 Great Halls are dizzy from reading this. In the future, Qing Tian will be replaced by the Big Dipper lineage. There are 7 Great Halls under the Big Dipper lineage. It's actually very easy to remember. There are 7 stars in the Big Dipper, and each star has a hall. The 7 Great Halls belong to the Big Dipper lineage. As mentioned before, the Big Dipper constellation used to be one. However, the Big Dipper constellation sank and split into 7 great ancient life stars, forming the Big Dipper 7-star halls. It's already the 4th update, brothers. Qing Tian hereby swears that if I can rush to the top of the monthly votes list, I'll be at the top of the monthly votes list. In this month of May, I'll update explosively every 5 days. Even if I have to stay up late, I'll finish it and prepare to risk my life. I'm talking about indulgence. Horizontal, middle, text, Net's monthly votes list. Haha, this oath is too vicious. I'm just saying it casually, don't take it seriously. Chapter 178. Although it was possible to inscribe 9 mystiques in the mystique door, it was very difficult. Some prodigies only cultivated 1 mystique because the more mystiques they inscribed, the harder it would be for them to break through the mystique realm and evolve the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. 99% of the cultivators would choose to cultivate 1 mystique and wait for their foundation to grow stronger before inscribing other mystiques. Why is a mystique book so expensive? Everyone gasped. The price of a mystique book that could be directly thrown into the mystique door to nurture a mystique was beyond expectations. What do you know? It's very difficult to master a mystique. Even prodigies need to spend a lot of time. If you can directly inscribe a mystique in the mystique door, the mastery speed will be very fast. No wonder Yao Guangjuzi and the rest are fighting for it. There was a lot of discussion. This mystique book was being auctioned using Heaven's Essence Stones. It had already reached 40 kilograms of Origin Essence Stones, and the price was still climbing. 50 kilograms of Heaven's Essence Stones. Han Tong's domineering bid made everyone speechless. But Han Tong still needed a mystique book. With the Big Dipper Hall's foundation, they would not spend so much Heaven's Essence Stones to buy a mystique book. Haha, since senior brother Han Tong wants it, we won't fight for it. Mizar Juzi and the rest stopped fighting. This mystique book was not too expensive. 50 kilograms of Heaven's Essence Stones was not much to them. Moreover, Han Tong was backed by the Big Dipper Hall's Grand Elder. Because of the Big Dipper Hall's master, the Grand Elder and the Big Dipper Hall's doyen were not on good terms. Therefore, they were trying to rope Han Tong in. Thank you, junior brothers. Han Tong was not angry. He had the demeanor of a senior brother. He said very generously, "This mystique book is useless to me. Guanlong has such achievements at such a young age. I specially bought this mystique book for Shuelong." Seeing your brother's generosity is admirable. Mizar Juzi and the rest were speechless. 50 kilograms of heaven's essence stones. He was really rich. Xing Jingfu and the other disciples frowned. They also wanted it, but Han Tong gave it to Shui Long directly. This made Shui Long overjoyed. He kept thanking Han Tong, and he became even more proud. This was a mystique book that was worth 50 kilograms of heaven's essence stones. This Han Tong is helping an outsider. He has always wanted to build a good relationship with Shui Guan. The young Dragon King shook his head and sneered. It's only 50 kilograms of heavenly essence stones. Shui Guan won't be interested in such a small thing. This divine art manual is also ordinary. If you don't have several thousand kilograms of heavenly essence stones, you won't be able to buy it. The treasures brought out by the auction house were gradually becoming more and more valuable. When strands of divine aura swept over, it was as if a huge rock was pressing down on the auction house. Dao weapon. Su Yin was startled. He opened his eyes and looked into the distance. Suddenly, he felt a blazing aura cover the sky. This was a copper furnace. Although the furnace was somewhat damaged, it still exuded a divine aura that was as thick as the heavens. Boom! The copper furnace shone, the furnace blazing brilliantly. This was a divine furnace that had been opened, releasing a blazing aura that burned the surroundings into a large black hole. Dao weapon. A few big shots opened their eyes and looked at this copper furnace. They felt it was a pity. The furnace was slightly damaged, and this was a damaged divine weapon. Its value was greatly reduced. The younger generation were all envious. This divine weapon was extremely valuable. Even if it was damaged, it would still fetch a sky-high price. He Xian was all smiles as he said, although a part of the copper furnace is damaged, if it can be repaired, its power will also be world-shocking. A few blacksmiths rolled their eyes. Repairing a divine weapon? This was too difficult. Even a blacksmith master would have to spend Li's qi and even find the corresponding divine materials. The price was extremely high. Although the big shots didn't put this thing in their eyes, the young geniuses were all envious and wanted a bid for it. This copper furnace was being auctioned with heavenly essence stones. All the big and small forces were fighting to be the first to bid, fearing that they would be a step slower. Once they obtained the divine weapon, their clan's foundation would skyrocket and they would be able to dominate a region. Dao weapon is very important. Su Yin was tongue-tied. The price was getting higher and higher. The price of heavenly essence stones had already exceeded 100 pieces. This thing was very difficult for small families to compete for. Some geniuses had already started a bid. 190 kilograms. The moment the Shui family leader spoke, the auction quieted down. 150 kilograms of heavenly essence stones was not a small sum. This price was difficult for some big forces to bear. Congratulations to the Shui family leader. He Xian laughed. Haha, thank you all for your consideration. The Shui family leader said proudly, my son Guanjuan doesn't need this copper furnace. After all, he has the primal chaos war chariot. This copper furnace is just right for my son Tianlong. Some geniuses almost vomited blood. Shuilong was only 17 or 18 years old, but he actually had a divine weapon to use. Comparisons were odious. Little Dragon King's face was gloomy. Tianlong was equivalent to the supreme divine beast of his clan. The Shui family leader said that his son was a Tianlong. Wasn't he afraid that a powerful demon would come and cripple the Shui family? At this stage of the auction, the big shots had already started to bid for some Tao scriptures. However, the next auction treasure that appeared made Su Yin somewhat tempted. Strands of tragic aura swept through the auction hall, causing some people's hands and feet to turn cold. They saw He Xian take out bronze short spears one after another. There were a total of 12 short spears. These short spears were densely covered with formation marks. They were resplendent and dazzling. They stood tall in the auction hall. The 12 short spears were awakened. Their aura intertwined with each other like lightning, forming a killing formation. A killing formation artifact. Some array Tao Master's side. This killing formation artifact was very powerful. Unfortunately, some of the formation marks had been obliterated, causing its power to weaken significantly. Even He Xian felt that it was a pity. If this artifact was in its strongest state, it could kill an expert of the Transcendence realm. Unfortunately, some of the formation marks had been obliterated. It was very difficult to repair them. Ordinary array, Dao masters couldn't do it. Moreover, the formation marks of the killing formation artifact required the origin brush to create. Su Yin was tempted. This artifact was worth fighting for. I'll use the dragon bones to bid. Su Yan's eyes narrowed. The dragon bones were useful to him, but they weren't particularly useful. After all, the dragon blood and dragon bones have been greatly depleted. They weren't of much help to Su Yin in cultivating the starry sky, divine furnace. Su Yin secretly informed the maid at the door and asked her to bid for the dragon bones in secret. The auction could be carried out in secret. If someone took out the dragon bones, it would cause quite a commotion. This scene caused Go Peng to be on guard. Could it be that Su Yin had taken them out? Or could it be that he was in the auction? If he's in the auction, Go Peng's anger surged. He immediately ordered his subordinates to send people to ambush around the auction hall. Once Su Yin came out, they would immediately capture him. Su Yin had successfully seized this killing formation artifact. If this artifact was successfully repaired, he could directly lay out a killing formation and cripple Go Peng. The auction continued for a while. When Go Peng's artifact was taken out, some of the people in the auction hall were whispering. Arcade Hall's Go Jingming died in the Star Tomb. Until now, we still haven't found out who did it. Yeah, I don't know where the culprit went. Go Peng is furious. After all, this is an astral treasure. Its value is high. It's about to nurture Dao accumulation and transform into a Dao divine weapon. There were many people secretly competing for this artifact. No one was willing to openly make an enemy out of Go Peng. Go Peng was also bidding. He was furious. Someone was secretly bidding for it, and the price was very high. Su Yan's face darkened. Han Tong had bid 4,000 grains of star rice and won the astral treasure. He had suffered a loss of 1,000 grains. Su Yin was speechless. He immediately thought of his own astral treasure. It was a supreme grade astral treasure. Its price would be terrifying. This was a priceless amount. Go Peng, this artifact was originally yours. No matter what, the Arcade Hall's prestige cannot be challenged. Catch the culprit as soon as possible. Han Tong's foundation was astonishing. After all, he was the personal disciple of the Grand Elder. He directly gave the astral treasure to Go Peng. Many thanks, Taoist Han Tong. Go Peng was overjoyed. He thanked Han Tong repeatedly. If they were to compete in foundation, he couldn't be compared to Han Tong at all. It will return to me sooner or later. Su Yin cursed in his heart. Where did this bastard Han Tong come from? He kept giving things to him. At this moment, the item that He Xian took out caught Su Yan's attention. True dragon blood. Go Peng's face was full of killing intent. It was because of this that Go Jingming died. He was so angry that he was about to spurt blood. He felt that the auction house was doing this on purpose. They took out an astral treasure and true dragon blood. These two treasures were not on the same level. How could they be auctioned together? You old bastard. Su Yin cursed in his heart again. The whole place was in an uproar. The big shots were paying close attention. Although it was the lowest grade true dragon blood, it was still a top grade resource. You want primordial divine elixirs? The big shots shook their heads. Even if they had primordial divine medicine, they wouldn't trade it for the true dragon blood. Su Yin waited nervously. Young Dragon King finally spoke. I happen to have a part of it. I can trade it. Su Yin clenched his fists. He was extremely excited. This was the biggest reason why he crossed the universe to come here. The dust had finally settled. Since young Dragon King needs it, then He Xian also felt that he had been entrusted with a great task. This was recommended by Zi Xiaoning. He must sell it. Wait a minute. Suddenly, the Shui family leader smiled. Young Dragon King, my son Tianlong also needs this true dragon blood. I also have a part of the primordial divine medicine. Young Dragon King looked as if he had eaten a fly. Who is your nephew? Ha. Young Dragon King, you want the true dragon blood to comprehend the true dragon's charm, right? Yao Guang mocked. It seems that you don't have the true dragon treasure body. The Shui family leader smiled and said, Young Dragon King, I think the one who has the most valuable primordial divine medicine will get the true dragon blood. Comprehend the true dragon's charm. That means young Dragon King doesn't need the true dragon blood. Suyin scratched his head and quickly called the maid at the door in. He urged, Go, and tell young Dragon King that the true dragon blood is offered by me, Suyin. I have dragon bones that contain more true dragon's charm than dragon blood. Tell him to raise the price without worry. The maid nodded repeatedly. Suyin smiled. You old bastard, your son Guanjuan, your son Tianlong. I will make you bleed. Chapter 179. The auction house was silent for a while. He Xian then said, Little Dragon King and the Shui family's primordial divine elixir. After comparing, the Shui family's primordial divine elixir is better. Ha ha ha. Shui Long laughed. Little Dragon King, what do you have to compete with me? You even lost 9 of your subordinates. That means that this flood dragon is very useful. Its pulling speed is very fast. You still want to compete with me for this true dragon blood? Shuilong's words made the auction house silent. It was true that newborn calves were not afraid of tigers. Shuilong's courage was not small. He even dared to expose Little Dragon King's scars here. Yes, Little Dragon King. The true dragon blood's aura is not strong. I think you should give it to Shuilong. Yao Guang also said coldly. Shui family's head also laughed and said, Sorry, nephew, this item is mine. Wait. Little Dragon King, who had been silent all this time, suddenly said, I'll add another 5 kilograms of heavenly essence stone. 5 kilograms? Hee, Little Dragon King, you're really poor. I'll add another 5 kilograms. Shuilong squandered without a care. He did not care about a mere 5 kilograms of heavenly essence stone. Let's fight, haha. Suyin was excited. He had already communicated with Little Dragon King. They worked together to cheat Shuilong of his heavenly essence stone. 5 kilograms was not a small amount, but Shuilong took it out to compete. When I was fighting with your brother, you weren't even born yet. Little Dragon King's words were filled with anger. He then said, I'll add another 10 kilograms. Some people were trembling with fear. 10 kilograms, 10 kilograms. This was heavenly essence stone, not origin essence stone. Heavenly essence stone was not an ordinary item. Even a genius would find it difficult to take out a lot of heavenly essence stone. An old expert from the demon race was scared out of his wits. He told the young Dragon King not to let his emotions affect his decisions. Heavenly essence stones were too scarce. Now that the Shui family was at its peak, it would be very difficult for the young Dragon King to compete with him in wealth. What's the point? You still lost to my elder brother. I'll add another 10 pounds. Shuilong was furious. The Shui family head's heart sank. 15 kilograms of heaven's essence stone wasn't a small amount. He quickly said, That's enough. Sky Dragon, I didn't bring that many heaven's essence stones, so don't speak carelessly. You can't go back on your words at the Cosmos Business Alliance's auction. 10 caddies, hee. I'll add 20 caddies. Little Dragon King took a deep breath and blurted out, Little guy, how many years have you been accumulating? You still dare to fight with me? You can't. You're the one who can't do it. I'll give you 15 pounds. Shuilong's eyes turned red. Little brat, you can't do it. Add another 50 pounds. Little Dragon King sneered. Even if Shui Guan obtained the inheritance of a powerful expert, he is not as rich as my father. Do you understand? Bullshaster's tea. I have money. I'll add 80 pounds. Shuilong's words almost made the Shui family head wet his pants. He quickly sealed Shuilong's mouth and said angrily, Little Dragon King, why are you trying to show off with a child? I'll give you the true dragon blood. You win. Who knew that after Little Dragon King sat down for a long time, a very calm voice floated out. You. The Shui family head's eyes were about to split open. His eyes were bloodshot. Was 80 pounds of heaven's essence stone a small amount? Someone just happened to give me a piece of dragon bone. Little Dragon King played with a piece of dragon bone in his hand. In the end, he didn't force it out and laughed loudly. This dragon bone contains the charm of a true dragon. It's much stronger than the true dragon blood. This true dragon blood is of the lowest grade. If I refine it, it won't be of any use to me. The auction house became silent. It was as if a pin drop could be heard clearly. Everyone could feel the fury of the Shui family head. It was as if an old lion was raging here. Xian quickly said, "Is there anyone who wants to continue to bid?" The Shui family head almost roared. "Bid your grandpa. Is 80 pounds of heaven's essence stone a small amount?" "All right, then." Before Xian could finish his words, Little Dragon King paused for a moment and said with a smile, "Senior Xian, you have to calculate clearly. Starting from 30 Gene, I have increased the price twice, so the next round will be 50 Gene." The Shui family head was almost paralyzed on the ground. It was as if he was struck by lightning. All the hair on his body stood down. A wisp of cold wind blew over. Some people were trembling with fear. If it was calculated according to Little Dragon King's bid, then it would be 180 pounds of heaven's essence stone. The Shui family had almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. He roared, "It doesn't count. Shualong bid just now, he didn't bid. 80 pounds means 80 pounds. Xian was silent for a moment. He smiled and said, "Shui family head, you should know the rules of the Cosmos Business Alliance. Moreover, 180 pounds of heaven's essence stone isn't a big amount to the Shui family." The Shui family head was heartbroken. It was easy for him to say it, but 180 pounds of heaven's essence stone was wasted just like that. Who would feel good about it? All right, let's move on to the next round of the auction. Xian quickly changed the topic. So people took a deep breath. The Shui family head was cheated badly, and Little Dragon King was still laughing. Suyin was almost cramping up from laughing. He got 180 pounds of heaven's essence stone, just like that. Little Dragon King even gave him 15 pounds of heaven's essence stone to buy the dragon bones. He was very happy to spend this money. These heaven's essence stones are enough for me to reach the peak of the Saint Realm. Su Yin suppressed the joy in his heart and continued to observe the upcoming auction. The auction was getting more and more lively, and more precious items were appearing. When a piece of divine stone appeared in the venue, Su Yan's eyes lit up. The dragon totem was blazing and the temperature was extremely hot. He was shocked because the temperature of the dragon totem was even more terrifying than the blood of a true dragon. What kind of treasure is this? Su Yan's expression changed as he stared at the divine stone. This was a type of divine material, but the divine energy it contained was extremely exuberant. It was like the rough embryo of a natural treasure. Some big shots were attracted. This piece of divine material was a little impressive. With a little refinement, it would become a natural killing weapon that was much more precious than ordinary stars. Impossible, this divine material isn't that big. It's impossible for the dragon totem to erupt with such a strong temperature. Su Yin was breathing heavily. Could there be something hidden in this divine material? He waited patiently. The starting price of this divine stone was very high. The starting price was 50 pounds of heaven's essence stone. Yawang Palace Master immediately made a move. Even big shots were fighting for this item, which showed how precious it was. However, Yawang Palace Master was the only one. A treasure of this level didn't have a natural Tao essence after all, and its value couldn't be especially precious. When the price climbed to 50 pounds of heaven's essence stones, Su Yin directly called out the price. After all, this item was more precious than the blood of a true dragon. What was 100 pounds of heaven's essence stones? If one could obtain a treasure as precious as the blood of a true dragon, how could its value be measured by 50 pounds of heaven's essence stones? Damn, why is it so expensive? The cooked duck was about to fly away. Su Yin said with a pained expression, forget it. Anyway, it was given to me by the young sky dragon. I'll just take it. 200 pounds. Su Yin fiercely called out the price and raised it by 15 pounds of heaven's essence stones. The auction venue was silent for a short while. Yawang Palace Master also stopped increasing the price. It wasn't worth offending a mysterious person for a treasure. The young dragon king frowned. What did Su Yin want this item for? 200 pounds of heaven's essence stones wasn't a small amount. He was very surprised. Su Yin wasn't even at the transcendent realm, and he actually dared to spend 200 pounds of heaven's essence stones? Su Yin took the godstone and felt a weight lifted off his shoulders. I can't bid anymore. I don't have anything else on me. Su Yin laid on the chair and watched patiently. It was already the finale item. Even a grade 6 elixir had appeared, and the price was unusually high. Now, the price of the items that were brought out increased layer by layer. The big shots started to make their moves frequently. Dao Divine Weapon. When a complete Dao Divine Weapon was brought out, the price kept climbing. Big shots like the Mizar Palace Master also made their move. Shui family's patriarch also joined the camp. Even Han Tong was spending a large amount of money to buy a Dao Divine Weapon. The price was unbelievable. A complete Dao Divine Weapon was a few thousand pounds of Heaven's Essence stones. Furthermore, Su Yin determined that this wasn't an especially valuable Dao Divine Weapon. The price of this item shocked him. Dao Divine Weapons were too rare. It's time for the finale. What kind of scroll is this? Does it contain primal chaos chi? Everyone present was shocked. Logically speaking, this item shouldn't appear in an auction of this scale. Yao Guang Palace Master and the others were shocked. They had once participated in a cross-domain auction. This sort of auction was a place where super strong warriors would compete, and the number of people attending would be stifling. This was a super auction that the Universe Commerce Alliance had spent many years to set up, and the people invited were all the strong warriors from the various superpowers. When the scroll was opened, it shone on its own. Dazzling words of the great Tao sprinkled down. Each and every word was branded in the void. They were entwined with primal chaos chi and chanting the sound of the great Tao. Primal Chaos Tao Book. Mizar Palace Master and the others gasped. This item was too valuable. It was a Tao book left behind by a super expert that roamed the universe. Actually, what I'm most interested in is the final auction item. It's even more shocking than the Primal Chaos Tao book. Su Yin was shocked. A Primal Chaos Tao book could actually cause so many big shots to fight over it. Most of them were fighting in the dark. Perhaps even the 7 palace masters were fighting in the dark. This item was sold. No one knew who obtained it. Next, we will begin with the final item. He Xian laughed loudly. To tell the truth, I've been hosting auctions for so many years, but this is the first time I've seen such an item. This item has the qualifications to appear in a super auction. It's even a late auction item. The little Dragon King gasped. Even he didn't have the qualifications to participate in an auction. Only his father had the qualifications to participate in a super auction. After returning, he said that he was a pauper. It was clear how shocking the amount of money spent in such an auction was. It was unknown how many years an auction of this level would be held once. He Xian was very serious as he took out a cauldron. Everyone was shocked. This was a supreme treasure that nurtured Tao accumulations, but it was only a container. When the cauldron was opened, it was as if a primitive treasure realm had been opened. It gushed out millions of auspicious multicolored lights and curled up with a rain of Tao light. It emitted a vigorous primitive aura. Buzz! Su Yan's body shone on its own. It was blazing brilliantly. He had an impulse to seize the primitive treasure liquid within the precious cauldron. What's going on? Su Yin suppressed it with great effort. His face revealed a shocked expression. His physique automatically surged with a swallowing force. He really wanted to absorb this item. This proved that the precious liquid within the cauldron had a great effect on his body. Brothers, there's more tonight. Chapter 180. At this moment, the entire auction hall was filled with waves of terrifying aura. What are they doing? Is this primeval elixir so valuable? Even the great figures have lost control. It must be an incredible treasure. Everyone was overwhelmed with shock. They discovered that in the top floor boxes, the mighty lords were awakening one after another. Their eyes opened uniformly, and their bodies emitted the aura of the great Tao. They were faintly unable to control themselves and wanted to kill their way out to seize the item sealed in the precious cauldron. Su Yin found it hard to believe. These great figures couldn't control their emotions. Just how astonishing was the item in the cauldron. Although Alcade Palace Master and the others coveted the item in the cauldron, they wouldn't kill their way out. This was the Cosmos Business Alliance. Once the item auctioned by the Cosmos Business Alliance was stolen, a bloody storm would be raised in the entire Big Dipper starfield. Primeval Elixir. I've only seen this item in ancient texts. I didn't expect it to really exist. This item is of great help to my father. Unfortunately, with my father's background, it's impossible for him to seize the primeval elixir. Little Dragon King clenched his fists. This item was too valuable. It contained the power of the great Tao. The young geniuses were all envious because this would play an important role in their future cultivation. My son is the champion. He must win. Shui family master instantly released a powerful will. Even if he had to exhaust his background, he would still take this item. Alcade Palace Master and the others sneered. This item was too valuable. They wouldn't give it up. Even one of the boxes was filled with a deep sea of purple divine splendor. There was an incredible great figure sitting inside. According to He Xian's understanding, this was a powerhouse who had crossed over to seize the primeval elixir. Buzz. He Xian poured out the item in the cauldron. Unexpectedly, there was only a single drop of primeval elixir. But this drop of primeval elixir was filled with primeval energy and emitted the aura of the great Tao. There was even the sound of scriptures being chanted, causing all the powerhouses to go crazy. The life essence contained within the primeval elixir was already exuberant enough, not to mention the power of the great Tao it contained. Primeval elixir. Mizar Palace Master cried out involuntarily. This is primeval elixir. What? Primordial treasure liquid. Some of the geniuses stood up in unison, breathing heavily. Even Han Tong was clenching his fists tightly. He already knew that the item inside was primordial treasured liquid, but now that he saw it with his own eyes, he couldn't control himself. A treasure of this level would actually appear in this kind of auction. Primordial treasure liquid was one of the most important items in a super auction. Primordial treasure liquid would not appear in an auction of this level. What is this? The younger generation were all shocked. Suyin also widened his eyes. What kind of treasure was this? The various geniuses almost lost control of themselves. Primordial treasure liquid. He Xian's eyes were burning with passion as he said, to be able to see this item is truly the fortune of 3 lifetimes. Rumor has it that primordial elixir needs millions of years to be born. It needs to be nurtured in the primal chaos, and each drop is a peerless, immortal treasure. There is a rumor in the universe that a single drop of primordial treasured liquid can create a genius. If some of the terrifying young supremes in ancient history could obtain the assistance of primordial treasured liquid, their combat strength would be extremely terrifying once they attain the Tao. Of course, for the experts, it is also the most important. Not to mention the longevity, this primordial treasured liquid contains the strongest power of the great Tao, born in the primal chaos. It is very suitable for the experts to participate. Perhaps they will have the opportunity to comprehend the primal chaos. He Xian's few words caused Mizar Palace Master and the others to breathe heavily. This was not a legend, and it could be confirmed. This item could only be encountered and not sought. Perhaps only the most terrifying powers would have treasures. Suyan's body was rumbling. His physique seemed to be naturally lacking this item. This item has no reserve price. He Xian laughed and said, any treasure can be exchanged. Everyone, please bid to your heart's content. 10,000 celestial essence stones. A single sentence was heard, causing the entire auction hall to become deathly silent. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. It was Han Tong who shouted such a terrifying price, causing Mizar Palace Master and the others to almost spit out blood. Eldest senior brother, Xing Jingfu and the rest clenched their jade-like hands. It was impossible for him to have 10,000 celestial essence stones, and it was impossible for the Grand Elder as well, unless they took out the shocking foundation of the Big Dipper lineage and obtained the primordial treasured liquid. Han Tong's eyes were red as he shouted a sky-high price. I owe my heart. Su Yan's palm clutched his heart and almost couldn't bear it. 10,000 kilograms of celestial essence stones? What kind of terrifying sky-high price was this? Han Tong has never comprehended the Tao, but the Big Dipper lineage is willing to throw out 10,000 celestial essence stones to help Han Tong. No one doubted the Big Dipper lineage's foundation. This faction that had been passed down for countless years had a shocking foundation. However, if they really took out 10,000 celestial essence stones, it would hurt their foundation greatly. For the sake of Han Tong, could the Big Dipper lineage take out 10,000 celestial essence stones? I'll add 1,000. But just as Han Tong's words fell, the expert who came from across regions spoke and directly added 1,000. I'm willing to take out a stock of a medicine king to trade. The Golden Dragon King, who had been silent all this time, spoke. His aged voice sounded because he was scared. A stock of a medicine king was enough to extend one's life by 1,000 years. A stock of a medicine king isn't worth 10,000 kilograms of celestial essence stones. Hall Master Yao Guang shook his head and said, Golden Dragon King, the price is a little low. I'm willing to use 3 top-notch Tao weapons to trade. A universe battleship that can withstand the cosmic storm and 50 kilograms of void stones at home. At this moment, another giant beast spoke. Silver divine light overflowed, and his physical body was like a condensed sea of stars. His terrifying silver pupils were cold and seductive. Giant astral beast. It's probably for his descendant. The giant astral beast generation has produced a progenitor astral beast king. They can be called astral divine beasts. The people in the auction were discussing. Who didn't know that the Big Dipper lineage was worthy of being the overlord of the Big Dipper lineage? Below them were the Schwef family, the Golden Dragon King lineage, and the giant astral beast lineage. There were also people who spoke in secret to trade. Mizar Hall Master and the others had all made bids, but they didn't have much hope. Shuiguan was the one they wanted the most. With his aptitude and the help of the primitive treasured liquid, his future was extraordinary. A gourd of 9 heavens silver sand. A senior elder from the Big Dipper Palace Hall made a bid. Even He Xian was shocked. This item wasn't simple. Damn it. Han Tong's expression was ugly. He knew that Bamboo Moon had a gourd of 9 heavens silver sand that could be refined into a set of supreme treasures. Back then, the Grand Elder wanted Bamboo Moon to give this item to Han Tong, but Bamboo Moon didn't agree at all. Han Tong had been brooding over this matter ever since. Bamboo Moon also wants it. Su Yan's heartbeat quickened. How terrifying was this thing? All the top-notch experts in the Big Dipper Starfield wanted it. This item had been fought over for a very long time. Everyone waited nervously, until He Xian, as if he had been entrusted with a heavy burden, said, The auction is over. The entire auction hall was surging with killing intent. All the important figures were furious. Who exactly had taken the primitive, treasured liquid? Have these old fellows gone mad? Su Yan was tongue-tied. He could feel the substantial killing intent. It was as if they wanted to make a move to seize the primitive, treasured liquid. The people in the auction hall left in large batches. Su Yan waited for the item to be in his hands before taking a deep breath and leaving the auction hall. Standing at the door, Su Yan sensed that the entire Alcade city was swaying faintly. It was as if divine furnaces were burning one after another, and there was a mighty lord emitting killing intent. Little Dragon King's expression changed. A great figure wanted to seize the primitive treasured liquid. Will Father fight over it? Little Dragon King thought to himself. If Golden Dragon King could advance further, his future would be incredible. He could directly become a giant power in the Big Dipper Starfield that was second only to the Big Dipper Starfield Hall. He could also become a well-known top-notch race in the universe. This world is too crazy. There are treasures that can make experts go crazy. Su Yan muttered in his heart, Dragon Totem, when you find a sea of primitive treasured liquid for me, I'll be rich. I'll directly become the richest man in the universe. I can't buy as many treasures as I want. I can even buy a cart of Tao divine weapons. The entire Alcade city wasn't calm. There was a world-shocking killing intent that appeared from time to time outside the city, emitting terrifying fluctuations that suppressed the heaven and earth. Some people suspected that the Shui family had obtained the primitive, treasured liquid. After all, Shuiguan was the Big Dipper Supreme. There were rumors that he had obtained the inheritance of a powerful expert, and it was very likely that he possessed a shocking amount of wealth. So Yin, come back. If you continue to walk out, I'm afraid you won't be able to keep your life. At this moment, Zi Xioning's voice suddenly sounded. Su Yan's expression changed slightly. He looked around and faintly realized that there were people watching him. Go Peng set a trap for me here. Su Yan first thought of Go Peng. He quickly retreated and returned to the Cosmos Business Alliance. At this moment, a group of law enforcers rushed out from all directions and charged towards Su Yan with all their might. Guards! At the entrance of the Cosmos Business Alliance, 2 guards stood with cold expressions. They drew their killing swords and shouted angrily. A group of guards immediately rushed out from the Cosmos Business Alliance and blocked the law enforcers. What are you doing? Is the Cosmos Business Alliance something you can barge into? All of you back off. The Cosmos Business Alliance's guard spoke harshly and did not leave any face for the law enforcers. However, Go Peng really did not dare to barge in. Damn it, I almost caught him. Who the hell informed him? Go Peng's face was ashen. He was so close to capturing Su Yan alive. He did not dare to barge into the Cosmos Business Alliance. In fact, Su Yan did not break any rules in Brilliant City. Go, investigate him. I want everything about him. Go Peng said eerily. He did not believe that Su Yan did not have any friends in Brilliant City. Go Peng is too daring. He actually dared to attack me in Brilliant City. Damn it, didn't they say that Brilliant City was safe enough? Su Yan frowned. It was a little troublesome now. With Go Peng guarding here, he could not leave the Cosmos Business Alliance. Su Yan quickly found Zi Xioning. The enchanting Zi Xioning smiled and said, "Remember, you owe me a favor." Su Yan's face darkened. "You already knew, right? You don't have to worry about that." Zi Xioning's long and narrow eyes rippled. Her waist was slender, and her sexy long legs were wrapped in black stockings. She swayed her perky buttocks as she walked closer and smiled charmingly. "Let me tell you something. The Cosmos Business Alliance will not keep you for long." Chapter 181. Then can I hire your experts to protect me? Su Yan said unhappily. Of course. Zi Xioning's watery eyes glowed. Seeing the smile on Su Yan's face, she asked again, "Can you afford it?" Su Yan almost fell to the ground. His forehead was full of black lines. Su Yan reckoned that he didn't have enough Heaven's Essence Stones to hire such experts to protect him. "How long can I stay in the Cosmos Business Alliance?" Su Yan said helplessly. He could only stay in the Cosmos Business Alliance for a period of time. With your share of the transaction, you are now the lowest VIP of the Cosmos Business Alliance. You can stay in the Cosmos Business Alliance for free for a month. Su Yan was slightly relieved. Although a month wasn't long, it gave him some time to think of a plan. As for Go Peng, he couldn't possibly wait here for a month, right? All right, I'll stay here for a month. Zi Xioning watched Su Yan leave. She looked like she had Su Yan under control. She was waiting for Su Yan to come and beg her. When the time came, she would ask Su Yan to help her find something in the Star Tomb. The Cosmos Business Alliance's residence was much bigger than the cultivation room Su Yan rented. The divine power of heaven and earth inside was also very abundant. Su Yan sat cross-legged in the residence. After pausing for a while, he took out the Genesis brush and began to carve array marks in the residence. Layer after layer of array marks were quickly carved and sealed the entire residence. This little guy actually has a Genesis brush. A black-robed figure appeared in the antique room. He reported to Zi Xioning. This surprised Zi Xioning a little. She giggled. "See, I told you that Su Yan isn't simple. According to the information I have, Su Yan also knows the Big Dipper Fist. I remember that Bamboo Moon has a Genesis brush seed. Don't you think this is too much of a coincidence? Could this guy be Bamboo Moon's lover?" The black-robed man was speechless. No matter what, Bamboo Moon was the Star Lord of the Big Dipper constellation. With a stomp of her foot, the entire Big Dipper constellation would tremble. How could her man be a brat who wasn't even at the transcendent realm? Done. Su Yan sat cross-legged in the cultivation room. His heart relaxed, and he quickly took out his gains from the auction. Sacred medicine. Su Yin took out a jar. Inside the jar was a primordial divine medicine. Buzz. After the jar was opened, a majestic spiritual energy gushed out, filled with strands of saint energy. Su Yan's eyes were fixed on the jar. There were purple leaves inside, and each leaf was intertwined with great Tao runes. When these great Tao runes were combined, they looked like a purple god. The 3 leaves were all extremely extraordinary. This was a holy medicine, and even though it was only a small portion, its value was still astonishing. "You see, you're saved now," Su Yin muttered to himself. He sealed the jar and sat cross-legged in deep thought. He was going to use the holy medicine only when it was safe. Su Yin still had a lot of time. He had a set of killing array equipment and 12 short spears. He decided to repair the array marks on the short spears. When the time came, they would be combined into a killing array that would be enough to kill Go Peng. I have the Heaven's Essence Stone. Even though it's only 5 kilograms, it's enough for me to cultivate to the 5th level of the Tao Gate realm. It's more than enough. Let's see what treasures are hidden in the ore. Su Yin took out a piece of rare ore and a piece of divine stone. The treasures hidden in the rare ore were weaker than the treasures hidden in the divine stone. "Don't disappoint me." Su Yin crushed the ore. After the ore cracked, it looked like a layer of stone had fallen off. Immediately, rays of blinding silver radiance were released. Su Yan's face was filled with surprise. This was a silver piece of paper, just like a silver heavenly book. Could it be some kind of divine ability? Su Yan's eyes were filled with joy. He held the silver piece of paper and observed it. He was getting more and more shocked. In the end, he couldn't help but laugh. What a great divine ability, 9 transformations. The secret technique recorded on the silver piece of paper made Su Yin pleasantly surprised. The divine ability, 9 transformations, could be understood as a transformation technique. It was to use the power of divine abilities to change one's appearance. This kind of secret technique was very mysterious. It could even change a person's aura. If one's cultivation was high enough, they could even change into some plants. Only those in the divine ability realm can cultivate it to a high level. After observing it for a while, Su Yin frowned. With his current cultivation, he could use it. At most, he could hide it from Go Peng. However, it would be seen through by a powerful figure. However, this thing is now my life-saving medicine. Su Yin sneered. It's fine as long as I can hide it from Go Peng. The value of this divine ability, 9 transformations, shouldn't be any less than the divine ability book. It might even be more valuable than the divine ability book. Su Yin kept the divine ability, 9 transformations, and looked at the divine stone. This thing was even more valuable than the true dragon blood. With Su Yan's strength, it was very difficult to crush the divine stone that was shining with divine light. This thing could be used to refine divine weapons, to refine divine elixirs, and so on. A tier 6 divine elixir could already be called a divine elixir. Break it open. Su Yin took out the star pagoda. He stared at the divine stone and directly drove the star pagoda to smash it at the divine stone. Boom! The divine stone rumbled on its own. It was very extraordinary. The divine essence within it recovered and resisted the pressure of the star pagoda. Su Yin crazily smashed the divine stone dozens of times, again and again. Finally, a corner of the divine stone cracked. For a moment, resplendent divine essence that contained surging divinity scattered down. Absorb. Su Yin hurriedly put away the star pagoda. His body glowed as the initial sutra began to circulate. As the pores all over his body opened and closed, the divine essence that scattered out from the divine stone was quickly absorbed by Su Yin. He was not willing to waste it. However, Su Yin was also puzzled. The divine stone's insides had been hollowed out, and the divine elixir inside was ready-made. Could there be some treasure hidden in the divine stone? Su Yin was not at ease. He took out the star pagoda and suppressed the entire residence to prevent the treasure from escaping. What a majestic energy! Su Yan's entire body was resplendent and crystalline. Under the nourishment of the divine essence, the qi and blood in his body began to strengthen. It was as if a furnace was burning in this place. Even Su Yan's body felt like it was about to explode. Su Yan gritted his teeth and guided the divine essence within him. He channeled it into the life spring and began to cultivate the fifth sacred gate. While Su Yan began to cultivate, Brilliant City's pagoda was not calm. It was already nighttime, but Brilliant City was always bright. There was a faint, blazing blood essence that could burn down the sky. It was as if a divine furnace was burning outside the city. Someone is going to make a move? Could it be that they know who auctioned off the primordial elixir? I'm guessing that the Schweff family has obtained the primordial elixir. If it is really the Schweff family, perhaps the big shots from the Big Dipper Palace Hall will make a move. That can't be. According to the information I received, a group of elders from the Big Dipper Palace Hall hope that the Big Dipper Fairy and the Big Dipper Supreme will be together. Even the 7 great halls of the Big Dipper lineage are on good terms with the Schwegwan. What's the use of being on good terms with him, who would look on helplessly as an unparalleled young supreme comes out from under their noses? I dare to bet that if the Schweff family really obtained the primordial elixir, they will definitely make a move to fight for it. As for who exactly auctioned off the primordial elixir, the Cosmos Business Alliance would not spread the news. This night was not peaceful at all. Right now, there was no way to verify who had auctioned off the primordial elixir. They could only watch helplessly as they felt that this battle would be very difficult to start. Big news. The cracks in the star mound are faintly expanding. Some big shots are speculating that the Big Dipper will completely emerge within a year. On this day, a piece of news was spread out. The entire Big Dipper starfield was shaken. Prodigies who had been hibernating in seclusion all came out of seclusion. The star mound was a place where the strongest life forms were buried. It was extremely easy to comprehend the power of the Grand Tao. There was no one among the younger generation who did not want to go to the Big Dipper to cultivate. Even the young Dragon King and other prodigies were paying attention to this matter. In a short period of time, more and more cultivators gathered in Brilliant City. Experts of the older generation also appeared frequently. There was even a possibility that some young prodigies had crossed over to conquer the Big Dipper. They still want the primordial elixir? Without my son Guanxing, when the prodigies from the outer realms cross over, who will be able to fight against them? The head of the Schweff family said coldly, "Only my son Guanxing can shoulder the burden and represent the Big Dipper starfield to fight against the invincible prodigies from the outer realms." Under such circumstances, the prodigies of the younger generation were especially important. If they could not even suppress the prodigies from the outer realms, then the Big Dipper starfield's influence in the universe would continue to decline. It's a pity that the divine stone contains too much divine essence. It's very difficult for me to refine it all. Su Yan's heart ached. This thing was very expensive. With his current cultivation level, it was impossible for him to refine the divine energy contained within the divine stone completely. He would need an alchemist to refine an elixir. However, Su Yan's sacred gate had also reached the peak of the fourth heaven. Immediately, Su Yan felt that something was amiss. When the divine essence within the divine stone was completely depleted inside, there was a faint aura of the Grand Tao. In fact, this aura of the Grand Tao was somewhat similar to the primordial elixir that he had encountered at the auction. Su Yan's expression changed drastically. When he saw wisps of primordial gas drifting out from the crack in the divine stone, which contained a thin amount of the primordial elixir, Su Yan's expression changed drastically. Then it turned into ecstasy. Damn it, the primordial elixir! Su Yan stood up abruptly, his face full of excitement. This was the primordial elixir that had a heaven-defying price. It was a treasure that even mighty sages secretly wanted to fight for, and it was actually so easy to obtain. However, this was not a single drop. It was only half a drop. This divine stone should have been contaminated with the primordial elixir, which had seeped into the divine stone over time. Suddenly, Su Yan felt a sense of familiarity. It was as if this was the primordial elixir that he had lost before. Why do I have this feeling? Su Yan was absent-minded as he muttered to himself. At the next moment, the primordial elixir automatically returned to Su Yan's body. Stop! Su Yin wanted to stop it because he felt that it was too wasteful to use the primordial elixir on himself now. He might as well sell it and exchange it for tens of thousands of Heaven's Essence Stones. Su Yin was prepared to hibernate and cultivate until he reached the transcendent realm, or even the transcendence realm. However, nothing could stop the primordial elixir from returning to Su Yan's body and fusing with Su Yan's body. Boom! Su Yan's body flourished with divine light, as if it was something he had lost. Now that it had fused into one, it emitted waves of terrifying aura.